myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
And welcome. It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show on S3. A very good morning to you. I'm Zoe Brown, and of course, we're going to be hanging out with you from now until 9 o'clock this morning. And it is Tuesday, which means it is a health awareness focus day for us, not only for our internal health, but also the environment around us. So first up, we are going to connect with breast cancer survivors Ruth Brown and Vivian van der Schuur, alongside specialist surgeon Dr. Fatima Hussein, to chat about breast cancer and the signs and symptoms to look out for during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. A very important panel discussion will be taking place. And then we'll also look at our planet and how drastic weather patterns are heading our way if we don't make changes to our environment. We have spokesperson from the Green School SA in studio to share how the youth can start implementing changes to how we can also treat our planet and save it for future generations. Well, that and a whole lot more coming up, but let's first say good morning to you and good morning to G-Man. Hey, G.
Hey, girl, for like the 100th time. Now that you're actually here, well done, our marathon runner. We're all so proud of you. But of course, yes, we have an important job to do today, Zoe. We are saving the planet. And in fact, that's a conversation I want to start with you guys right now. As a parent, I'd love to know how you are approaching this with your kids. We know that it is Global Climate Change Week at the moment, with activities, discussions, so much to sink our teeth into in this very important space at the moment. I want to know from you, do you talk to your kids about climate change, especially your young children? When is the right time? How do you introduce it? How have you gone about managing that conversation? And are they getting it? Because they're the custodians of the earth once we hand it over to them. So we'd love to hear from you. This is your opportunity to share those tips, those insights, have your voice heard. 063-408-8863. That's the WhatsApp line to drop a voice note throughout the show. Anything you want to talk about, we are here for you. And always, this is a safe place. But let's give you a couple of talking points to start off before I get into the sport. So Zoe's got the news.
Thank you, Graham. Starting off with national news, the bigger union at Transnet, Untu, has signed a 3-year salary agreement with Transnet. In terms of the agreement, workers will receive a 6% increase this year, followed by a 5.5% increase next year, and another 6% in the third year. The other unions at Transnet, Sourdough, condemned the signing of a wage agreement between Transnet and the majority union Untu. Sourdough's members will continue to strike until an agreement is reached with Transnet. And President Cyril Ramaphosa has provisionally withdrawn the latest changes to the ministerial handbook. This follows sharp criticism from members of the public, opposition parties and civil society organizations. A complaint was also lodged with the Office of the Public Protector. In terms of the amendments, cabinet members would no longer have to pay for water and electricity at their official residences. Moving to news abroad, Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has expressed concern over the high birth rate in the East African country and urged citizens to take up birth control measures. It's a major reversal from the position of her predecessor, the late John Magufuli, who openly encouraged women not to use contraception. A 2020 World Bank estimate said that Tanzania's fertility rate was at 4.8 births per woman. Tanzania has a population of some 60 million. And a Russian supersonic military aircraft crashed into a residential building in the southern Russian city of Yuysk on Sunday, engulfing the structure in flames and collapsing several upper floors. Initial reports said 4 people were killed and 19 injured. 4 are in a serious condition and 6 are missing in the port city of the Sea of Azov near the border with Ukraine. Russia's defense ministry said the plane was on a training flight. The aircraft's pilots ejected before the crash. Bringing news back home, the vibrant town of Worcester in the Western Cape has long been known as the Cape capital of SA, the Pioneer School for the Visually Impaired and the Innovation Centre for the Blind are both located in the town. both entitles invest significantly in empowering persons with disabilities to self-sufficiency and independence. Endorsing this powerful philosophy, the Karoo Desert National Botanical Garden in Worcester, home to some of the most spectacular plants on earth, has recently opened its Braille Trail, the first of its kind in South Africa. The trail is on an accessible 154-meter route in the National Botanical Garden that allows persons with disabilities, not only the visually impaired, to enjoy the uniquely beautiful South African arid and semi-arid flora. Visitors can handle the plants displayed and in raised beds. It also features comprehensive Braille signage, wheelchair accessibility, and includes an interactive exhibition of the common rocks of the Karoo for visitors to touch, feel, and learn more about. Now, everyone can learn more about the unique Karoo biome and how vulnerable and beautiful it is, and this is according to the garden's Liz Labuschagne. Well, that's where I leave your morning headlines for now. Let's take a first look at your sport. Here's Graham.
Thank you so much, Zoe. Let's start with football, and there can only be one. France striker Karim Benzema has won the Ballon d'Or at a glittering ceremony in Paris yesterday. The reward coming after his stunning performances helped Real Madrid win the Champions League and La Liga last season. Benzema, who is the first French winner of the most prestigious individual prize in football since the great Zinedine Zidane. What an honor way back in 1998. And he scored 44 goals in 46 games for his club, including 15 crucial goals in the Champions League. Then Barcelona's superstar Alexia Putellas, she retained the Women's Ballon d'Or and awarded, of course, to the best female footballer of 2022. Then the Premier League champions Man City, who had 6 nominees in the ceremony, were awarded Club of the Year. I think honours all round. Then on to cricket. Some great signs ahead of the World Cup. The Proteas cruised to a 9-wicket win over New Zealand in their first T20 World Cup warm-up match. And after winning the toss and opting to bowl, the Proteas dismissed the Black Caps for a paltry 98. Then acting captain Keshav Maharaj, he took 3 for 17 in just 3 overs, while fellow spinner Tobias Shamsi and seamer Wayne Parnell also stood out with 2 wickets apiece. And Riley Rousseau was 54 not out of 32 balls with bat in hand. Then fellow opener Reza Hendricks made 27 of 24. Then Aidan Markram was not out on 16 from just 12, as South Africa just trotted over the line in 12.1 overs. Then on to rugby news, not the kind of news we like to report on. English rugby giants the Wasps were on Monday placed into administration, with all the players being made redundant. Now, this is the second English Premiership club to suffer the fate in just 3 weeks. Wasps were suspended from the crisis-torn English top flight last week after saying they were, quote, likely to enter administration. Then confirmation of the widely expected move for Wasps Holdings Limited came in a statement from the administrators yesterday. And it was Wasps have been present in the Premiership since the competition began 25 years ago. So really heartbreaking news there. And we turn to Formula One. We expected certainly more meat out of this narrative. McLaren's F1 boss has now weighed in. Zach Brown has written a letter to the governing body, the FIA, in which he says Red Bull breaking the budget cap, quote, constitutes cheating. Now, Brown calls for penalties that will hit Red Bull financially and on the track. And any team who have overspent have gained an unfair advantage both in the current and the following year's car development. And Brown adds that the FIA should communicate subsequent action and penalties at pace to maintain the integrity of Formula One. So as I always say, we'll watch that story very closely, but that's where we leave our sport for now. Let's get the latest on the weather front. Let's start off with a bit of weather news now. The South African Weather Service has issued yet another yellow 2 warning. And that's for severe thunderstorms resulting in localized flooding and damages to infrastructure. That's expected over the western interior of KwaZulu-Natal and southeastern parts of Mpumalanga from this afternoon. Please take heed. The Weather Service said the thunderstorms are expected to be accompanied by strong damaging winds, excessive lightning and heavy downpours. And of course, that resultant conditions for flooding flooding. Now, meanwhile, the wildfires in Kagisano Malopo local municipality, that's in the northwest, are currently under control after some welcome rainfall just at the right time. Working on fire has confirmed that they will monitor the situation, where at least 75,000 hectares of grazing was destroyed by the fires. The communications officer working on fire in the northwest, Maria Letsole, says that 134 firefighters are on standby in the Ganesi area should the fires flare up again. Then moving from thunderstorms, we take our first look at those beautiful sunrise views from your neck of the woods. Now, Wanda out in Kraaifontein sent this beautiful indigo-infused shot of sky lighting up early this Tuesday morning. Beautiful one there. Owen Granger, another regular from Lakeside, shared this view from his balcony of the sun sneaking over the clouds. That's as he starts his day off with a cup of hot coffee, hopefully. Ziggy Okamp captured this vibrant view from Salt Rock of a phenomenal reflection over the calm sea. Lydia Williams also had a great contribution, sent this dusky image from Noordgedacht as she watches the sun peek through the husky trees. Beautiful composition there. Last up we have Nora Little showcasing beams of light with an orange hue. That's before rising above the clouds out in Gqeberha. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sending us those gorgeous views. And of course, you can do exactly the same. Share your sunrise images and videos on our WhatsApp line, 0634088863. We really love to see how you start your day. Let's see what the day is going to look like today, temperature-wise. And we start in Polokwane. Your low is 14. And Mbombela, your high of 29. Mbombela, you kick off on 17 degrees, going up to a high of 31. Pretoria, you're ranging between 15 and 27. Johannesburg, 13 and 25, with a 67% chance of some very welcome rain, but be aware, thunderstorms there. Mahikeng, 15 and 27, your range, with a 49% chance of rain. Klerksdorp, rain and thunder expected with at least a 40% chance, a low of 16, a high of 27. Kimberley, ranging between 17 and 27. Bloemfontein, 14 and 26, with rain expected there. Richards Bay, ranging between, excuse me, a moderate 21 and 29. Pietermaritzburg, 17 and 27, your zone for the day. Durbs, your low 26, going up to a high of 22, rather, your low going up to a high of 26. And Tata, 17 and 27, your range. East London, 20, your low, going up to a high of 24. Craddock, 16, your low, going up to 30. Gqeberha, 18, your low, going up to a high of 22. George Simona, 15, your low, going up to 22. Cape Town, 15 and 22, your range as well. Worcester, your low, 14, going up to a max of 31. Sutherland, 11 and 27, your range. And then Uppington, you kick the day off on a warm 20 degrees, going up to 31 degrees. As we always say, regardless of the weather, make sure it's a beautiful day.
Oh, well, listen, all I can say is happy Tuesday to you. And it's time for you to help me choose between two stunning Woolworths dresses for today's show. I need to look a little bit like I'm in the spring mood too. So option one, we're starting off with this embroidered gypsy style maxi dress that adds to the season's retro mood. It also features a split mandarin collar with tassel tie-ups and balloon sleeves, so really it is a fun addition to the dress and also a really unique style. That's option one. Now we move over to option two, which is this tiered shirt midi dress, and it's cut from airy cotton. It features a shirt style design for a chic summer vibe, and of course it is in a nice vibrant green color. So that's option two. Both options can be worn with sandals or heels. It can be styled with a statement bag like this. I mean, if you think about it, this beautiful red bag goes so well with that white dress and as well as with the green dress. So there you have it. These are the two options for you to choose from. So why don't you head on over to Expresso's social media pages to vote for your favorite look. Is it going to be look one or look two for me to wear? And don't forget to include that hashtag styled by Woolies.
I've been vibing, yeah. Me and my folks all good, that sun is shining. Ay, chillin' with my feet kicked up like I ain't trying. Yeah. This is what I want on summer, yeah. Gangs all here, let's run it, yeah. This is what I want on summer, yeah. Gangs all here, let's run it, yeah. Vibes right here, 100, yeah.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. October is a vitally important month for everybody, but certainly on this show. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an annual campaign to raise awareness of this complex disease and obviously fund research into causes, treatment and cure. Please. Now, breast cancer is one of the most common forms of cancer for South African women of all races, with a lifetime risk of 1 in 27. That is staggering. With us to discuss this topic is Dr. Fatima Hussein and breast cancer survivors Ruth Brown and Vivian van der Schuur. Ladies, welcome to the curved couch this morning. It is so good. Yes, we've had a rock band warming us up this morning. We absolutely love it, but we love the opportunity to connect with you at this particular phase in your journey. So first of all, I'm going to say thank you so much for being here, for being brave enough to open a window into your story. And then I have to ask, how are you? Ruth, I'm going to start with you. Where are you in your journey? Where is Ruth right now?
Ruth I'm at such a peak. Ruth is happy. Ruth feels absolutely fantastic, healthy and thankful.
And very grateful. For that, we are incredibly grateful. We're going to delve into how you got to this point. Vivian, I'm going to pose the same thing to you. I'm going to say thank you so much for being here. This is a vitally important time because I think information and misinformation are some of our biggest weapons, tools being used on both sides. How are you? Where are you in your journey at the moment?
Well, at the moment now, I'm enjoying life, taking it day by day and spreading the awareness and letting more ladies start joining and, you know, being open about the topic because it was always something that was dormant.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Break down that stigma. I know that in many areas of research, certainly in a space like cancer, that COVID hit hard, that so much focus was taken away from areas. Where do we sit right now in terms of the cancer narrative here in South Africa? Why do we have such high, alarmingly high cases of cancer in South Africa when it comes to breast cancer? What is your biggest concern when it comes to this opportunity for awareness?
I think the first thing and the most important thing is to take away the stigma that's associated with breast cancer. It's not something that anybody asks for. It's not a disease that you've done something to get it. So
it's not a show of weakness.
No, it's not a show of weakness. And but I think it is something that women don't want to acknowledge. Oh, in men as well, especially men. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to take the next step. And unfortunately, where doctors or where healthcare professionals sit is that we can't help you unless you take that first step and go and get checked out. Go and get that lump. Go have your screening. Go just have your screening done. And if you do have a lump, if you do have something that's worrying you, it's not maybe a lump. Sometimes it's a little bit of pain. Sometimes it's just this worrying feeling. Sometimes it's the dog that just keeps on jumping on that same side.
Sometimes it's a gut feel.
Sometimes it's a gut feel. Go and have it checked out and take it from there.
We know that in this space, from all of the experts that I've been lucky enough to work with, that early detection is probably the most powerful tool that we have at the moment. The why of it, I would imagine, is something that we grapple with, and I'm going to ask you guys about that now. But why does breast cancer occur? What is actually happening physiologically within the body that leads to breast cancer? Is it all hereditary? Are there other factors involved?
There are a lot of other factors, and I like it to break it down for my patients into the things that are avoidable and the things that are just not avoidable, what would have happened to anybody else. And the things that are avoidable are things like smoking, too much alcohol, things like hormone replacement therapy, exogenous hormones, taking pills and things like that. Those are things that you can avoid. Or if you have to take them, I know in a lot of women's circumstances, they have to take hormone replacement therapy because their quality of life is just majorly impacted by menopause. So in that scenario, if you're taking something, just know what the risk factors are and seek, have your screening done regularly.
Educated space. Yeah.
Exactly. For the most part, it's unavoidable. There's the genetic factors, the familial risk factors, previous radiation. The environment that we live in is very different to what they lived in before. So we don't have a lot of exercise. All those things do play a major role in getting breast cancer, but those are just purely and completely unavoidable.
I think the one solid kind of common thread is that we do have a support structure around us. I'm desperate to know about that moment for both of you. So I'm going to ask you to think about that as we take a very quick break, about what it was like receiving that news and how you were able to rebuild the mental strength to be able to take that first step in that battle against cancer. As I said earlier this morning, we'd love to hear from you today on anything we're talking about, particularly this. If you have an insight or a personal experience, please let us know. We'd love to get a voice note from you this morning. 063-408-8863. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh, thank you, G-Man. Well, you know what? Exercise and physical activity can really help cancer patients recover after treatment. It can help improve mobility, pain management, and symptom control. And here to take us through some of these exercises is fitness instructor Natalie Daniels, the one that's always wearing the pretty pink pants. You are here for it, and I am here for it. So when it comes to exercises post-surgery and obviously for recovery, what areas are we going to be focusing on today?
Okay, good morning, Zoe, and welcome. Thank you so much, and it's lovely to see you as well. And firstly, congratulations for completing the race. Well done.
Thank you. I'm hoping you're saying we're not doing any leg work.
Yes,
okay,
no.
thank you. I'm
Backstage, we were lucky we're doing legs. No, no legs. So we're going to be working upper chest.
Upper chest.
And Vivian, obviously one of my ladies at the studio. I've been working with her for the last year, and she's a powerhouse. I think she pushes me to work. So today we're going to be working with our resistance bands, with the ball, and obviously with the mat. So I'm going to have my DJ.
We're going to get the music going.
Because you know me, I love my music.
Of course.
But first, what we're going to do, we're going to work on shoulders and we're going to work on chest. So I want, you know, like a little girl, when you were angry, what was that one move you done? You're like, ah! Oh, there we go. There we go. That's the move.
the one.
So that's what we're going to do, working up there. And you're just going to pull it up for me, and 8 counts, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax it. Ooh, that's where all the tension is. You're gonna do another one, pull it up, pull up the there we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh, she's smiling at it. There's no pain, and relax. Good girl. Next one, we're gonna go and shoulder roll. So you'll find a lot of tension, and they feel like, oh, I can let go. I mean, Viv always also shared about how it's just too much, and when you're going through all that trauma, you find a lot of that tension sits away right here, as you can feel it, okay? The next one we're gonna do, we're gonna open up the chest, pick up the arms, open up the chest. Oh, and you feel it right there in the chest. Look up, there we go, good girl. From there, you're gonna just release it all the way down. Good girl. You're gonna give me one more, just opening up the chest. Okay, you're gonna be very subtle with your movements. Remember, most ladies, some of them have, they don't have as much mobility, so you've got to monitor yourself. And I always tell the girls, don't just run into a YouTube video and like, just done surgery, I've just done something, let me do stuff. So slow, and we want to get some mobility. The next one you're going to go into, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Do it.
So good.
It's okay.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing
a
a
little
squat.
squat there, just a little one. Push that hips out, and all you're gonna do, you're gonna lift the arms up. Ooh. Okay, can you feel it there?
I'm feeling it.
And there we go. Okay, you're gonna give me one more. There we go. I think we can. Just another one, just because you can. There we go. Ooh, and you're gonna hold it there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Bring it up. Good girl. Next one, just open up the chest again. You're gonna go sideways, and you're gonna bring it up. Oh. And you're gonna go sideways, and you're gonna bring it up. Oh, feeling it in those obliques as well. 2 more, and you bring it up. Oh. Last one, 2 more, and you bring it up. Okay, good girl, and relax. Next one, just up and down with the arms, just up and down.
I love that these are movements you can do at home.
Yes.
Easy movements. You don't need to be in the gym for it.
Remember, you're recovering, and what happens with the ladies, you find they want to rush into things like, give me the workout. Okay, you gotta take it.
Gotta rebuild those muscles.
There we go.
Especially after surgery, they cut through layers of muscle.
Give me 2
and
more.
I think we sometimes forget to be forgiving to our own bodies.
And last one. Next one we're going to quickly introduce is your resistance bands. So what I've also noticed with Vivian, you know, they're strong and they want to be stronger. They want to remain strong.
Yes.
And this is your buddy to remain strong. All you're going to do is just put it around your wrist, and all you're going to do, you're just going to...
Oh, this is tough.
Oh, yes, that's why I warmed up that
Okay, we did a proper warm-up.
Here we go.
Oh, Natalie, This has been incredible. I love how you've shown us these easy but yet very effective workouts. For those who are perhaps in a position where they need your assistance, where can they get a hold of you?
Well, they can obviously follow me on my Facebook page on FitMoms_Cape Town, or they can contact me directly. And, yeah, we'll leave them some details.
Fantastic. Well, I think that workout deserves a dairy snack. And of course, if you want to get involved in a little bit of workout, of course, stay tuned. We will be continuing our panel discussion with our ladies. And of course, our WhatsApp line is open. If you have questions or comments, that number is 063 408 8863. Cheers.
Only you can make my day.
When I was diagnosed with cancer at 32, thankfully I had illness insurance from Old Mutual. I was able to pay all the extra unexpected costs, and then, with the help of my financial advisor, I was able to invest the rest of my lump sum payout. I didn't expect this to happen to me, but the insurance has been a great relief.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue our discussion around breast cancer and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but this should be a conversation that runs every single day in your household. It's important to remember that you can lower your cancer and health risk by cutting out lifestyle factors that increase your cancer risk. We've spoken about those and we will continue to do that. Learn to recognize warning signs. Annual medical checkups and cancer screening appointments can help early detection, which is key. And symptoms don't always present until cancer has spread. And that story we're going to delve a little deeper into as well. But Dr. Fatima Hussein and breast cancer survivors Ruth Brown and Vivian van der Schuur are still with us. Vivian, why weren't you doing the exercises now? We hear you the beats.
I was waiting.
Yeah, you were looking for your course. She was like, Coach, put me in, I'm ready. Ladies, once again, thank you so much for being here. It really hit like a light bulb moment that in the space of so much mistrust and misinformation of the system that we need to hear survival stories. We need to hear these success stories. So thank you so much for doing this so so bravely and so proudly. Ruth, I'm going to ask you a very difficult question right now and take you back to, I would imagine, a very dark moment in your life. When you got that news, what happened within you and what did it spark, and how were you able to take that first step towards seeking help?
When I got the news after the biopsy, the doctor said to me, I must tell you, you've got cancer. And I said, okay, fine, so what are we going to do about it? And he so kindly and calmly told me, you know, the procedures, what's going to happen, what I can expect. And to me, it was an absolutely awesome journey.
Wow.
I had a lot of support by my family and our congregants, and just generally, I had so much support that to me, it carried me through prayers, and you know, it helped me and it uplifted me. And I can't say it was a dark journey, because to me, it was you keep on keeping on. Tomorrow is another day. Just keep on.
Just keep on pushing.
Yeah,
I
pushing.
absolutely love that.
Absolutely.
If I cry today, it's probably on you. It is probably on you, or could be on Vivian. A very different story in your case, Vivian.
Yes, in my case, because I was a bus driver, drove these big vehicles, so whenever I went to the doctor complaining about pain, because there was no lumps on my side again, then she would always say, maybe you sprained a muscle or you hurt yourself, you know. So it kept on for an entire year, and then I can't every time go back for the same thing, just getting an injection for the pain.
Yeah.
Then I went to a second opinion and the same thing, and then I just thought, no, man, my gut is telling me something else, and then I forced for a mammogram. And doing that, and they showed me that I've got 2 lumps, and then still I was like, okay, because my previous doctor said it could be a blocked duct, you know,
Yeah,
it's not
swollen
cancer.
gland, yeah,
Yes. So when the mammogram showed that part even, I still didn't think much of it. And it's only after they did the biopsy, and that's when I got now the news that it is cancer, invasive. And I'm like, okay, but I was still, you know, okay, it's another thing thrown at me.
Yeah.
So
Still the same, exactly the same person.
yeah,
Nothing else has
Nothing
changed.
has changed. So when they gave me my options, and then I said, I know what's the best option, because I don't want to go through treatment, and then at the end it still leads to the loss.
Yeah.
So the mastectomy, and I said to the doctors, go for it. But then it happened in lockdown. So, you know, the support structure you wanted around you at the time couldn't be there, and I had to be my own mental person, hero person.
How did you do that? Where did you find the strength?
Man, I found the strength with my kids, you know, thinking about them, knowing that they are worrying, and I don't want them to worry. And especially I've got 3 girls, and this could carry on to them, because sometimes they say it's also genetic, it carries across.
Now they've been empowered. They've been empowered to see what they need to do.
What they
in
need.
27 women are going to face this
Exactly.
journey. It's not a case of it might just happen to me. It's probably going to be a concern, so learn how to deal with it and empower yourself. What are your daughters' names?
Shanice, Nadine, and Kaylee.
We love you, girls. Thank you so much. Absolutely beautiful. Doctor, how important is this tribe, is this community, is your church, is your family, are your children over this period? Knowing that we don't have a cure, yet we are still beating cancer, how important is that support structure?
Fundamental. It's just one word, fundamental. I think it's the support structure that gets a lot of women through the most difficult times. You sometimes need a shoulder to cry on. You sometimes need just to talk to somebody, to talk the whole process out, to discuss what's happening to you or what has happened before, to discuss your options, so just so that you can play out your mind, your mind, and you can actually work through it. And a lot of the time it comes from your family, it comes from your husband, your children, etc. This is actually, I tell my patients, please talk to your family, etc. It's important for them to be a part of this, because not only is it strengthening for them as well, to see a woman, like to see a mother or father.
Especially for a girl child.
Yeah.
Come on.
I can fight this. It shouldn't be something that they should have to hide. They see their moms go through this and how their moms do it. It's an example for them. And then the same thing with the husbands. I mean, it's an opportunity for them to stand by their wives, to stand and guide them and help and do their little bit.
That's why we get married.
Exactly.
That's exactly why we get married.
Yeah.
We have living examples of how this fight can be won. It does require a support structure and a very strong mind, but there is a family around you. There are people willing to help you and ready to help you and structures to help you get there. And we're going to talk about the Ditto Project in just a moment, so stick around for that.
Thank you, Graham. And on the topic of health, let's turn our attention to our healthcare professionals. Now, pharmacists are not only brave, but they inspire hope within their community. Now, Pharmacy of the Week, it is a short feature acknowledging our incredible pharmacists. And this is our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Now, let's take a look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week. Krishna Reddy Pharmacy in Brits Northwest.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
To serve the community for us means that we give our heart and soul to our patients that come in here. We help them to the best of our ability. We give them our love together with our knowledge of health. So COVID did put a lot of pressure on our shoulders, but not so much so that we had to go and burn ourselves out when medication was unavailable, when people were struggling with their own economical problems, and we made sure still that they left here with everything that they needed. Bravery, it just means we give our heart and our soul to our community. Not only just medication and advice, but also love and attention.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
We've been long in the game, healing South Africa one allergy at a time. All the sneezing, runny nose, itching of nose and throat, we've left no stone unturned. Until finally, South Africa recognized us. You've given us the courage to continue to do what we do best. Live, work, play, sleep allergy-free with Allergex Non-Drowsy. Ask your pharmacist for the full allergy range. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Well, we are in a very important month. Hopetober is a month of hope, brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, inspiring communities one pharmacy at a time. But let's continue the conversation on breast cancer awareness.
Globally, October is known as Breast Cancer Awareness Month and serves as a vital conversation starter to raise awareness about the impact of breast cancer and, most importantly, inform women of the early signs and symptoms. It's all about early detection. And this morning, I am so pleased to be joined by Dr. Bilkis Sali, a senior official or medical officer at Old Mutual, to take a closer look at women's health and the prevalence of cancer here in South Africa. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure to be here.
Doc, a vitally important time where it kind of feels like maybe the wall we are facing is insurmountable, but every step in the right direction really helps, and awareness is absolutely key. I think a good way of driving this message home, maybe start with the negative. How prevalent is cancer, specifically within women here in South Africa?
Thank you, Graham, and thanks for having me in studio. South Africa has a high burden of cancer, and when we look at the specific types of cancer that affect women, we see that breast cancer is the most common, followed by cervical cancer, which is actually the highest cause of cancer mortality. When we look at the National Cancer Registry of 2019, we see that women have a 1 in 27 lifetime risk of developing breast cancer. And this has translated into Old Mutual's claim stats for 2021, where we see that 60% of illness claims in women are from cancer.
That's just shocking to me. This is actually so much more prevalent than I thought. And I'm so glad you used the word burden, because this kind of process becomes a burden on financial systems, yes, but on families and our financial situation in itself. This can change one moment, one terrible moment, into years of that pain. I'm guessing then that the reason why we need to drive awareness is for early detection. How important is it for women to get screened, and how often should a lady be going for a screening and a mammogram, specifically looking at the prevalence of breast cancer?
Thanks for asking this question, Graham. It's such an important question because a big problem that we have in South Africa is that cancer is often diagnosed late, when women have already started to develop symptoms. And the earlier that we diagnose cancer, the easier it is to treat it and increases your survival. So if we look at the tests that women should go for, it's important that women go for their general annual checkup with their primary healthcare provider, to do regular breast self-examinations, to do a mammogram annually from the age of 40 if they're symptom-free, and to include other screening tests like pap smears as well as colonoscopies on a 10-year basis from the age of 50.
You mentioned the age of 40 within women. Is this generally when that kind of we enter into that zone, or from what age should we really be thinking about this and thinking about screenings and obviously taking a health focus in this area?
So while the risk of cancer does increase with age, and if we look at our claim stats, we see that we experienced illness claims in women from the age of 20 years old up to 79 years old. This shows us not only that severe illness is unpredictable, but it also shows us that we are all at risk. And if we look at the average claim age, it shows that women were 54 years old, and at that stage, most women are still working and providing for their families.
When we talk about the burden of cancer, why is it then so important to have illness insurance?
So any diagnosis, especially a diagnosis of cancer, is devastating. Not only does it affect you physically, but it affects you emotionally, spiritually, socially, as well as occupationally. And then having to go through all of this, women still often have to provide for their families and their responsibilities. This often means having to make lifestyle changes, and this obviously means increasing cost of living. So the benefit of having an illness insurance is that it takes away that financial burden and decreases the suffering that you might face from a financial point of view. This allows you to spend that quality time with your family and focus on getting better and recovering. It's so important that women then understand what their health risks are, try their best to sort of mitigate it, and then spend the time to speak to a financial advisor to make a way to put your illness insurance in place that best suits you and your family.
And it doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, I can guarantee you your team will have a plan. And I love the fact that you guys work in a modular way as well. Thank you so much. I know this is not just a job for you, but you've invested your long-term kind of calling in this space. Yes. This is your passion. So thank you so much on behalf of all of the women that you have helped already and everyone that you're helping through Old Mutual. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
cannot
me,
wait
Graham.
for the next one. We're going to take a bit of a male health focus for the next one, so really looking forward to that. But I think you guys at home, I'm looking at the major take-home here. First and foremost, check in with your doctor regularly for your annual screenings. Please do it. And then speak to your financial advisor to learn more about illness insurance. And if you'd like a financial advisor just to give you a call, you can, of course, phone 0860 60 60 60, or you can visit oldmutual.co.za/illness. I really, really recommend you do it today.
When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I had the mindfulness to have illness insurance. I was able to pay all the extra unexpected costs, and then with the help of my financial advisor, I was able to invest the rest of my lump sum payouts.
Welcome back as we continue our discussion. Dr. Fatima Hussein and breast cancer survivors Ruth Brown and Vivian van der Schuur are still with us as we wrap up our discussion on Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast cancer is one of the most common forms of cancer in South Africa, and raising awareness for those suffering from the disease as well as the general public being vitally aware of this information is just so important. And we've got a voice note coming in from Sinatemba. I'd love to hear from her. Let's get her perspective.
My question is, do men also get breast cancer? Because the chubby guys, they also have something look like breast, so can also have breast cancer. That's my question for Sinatemba.
We couldn't really hear that one there, but Senator, thank you so much for joining us in our discussion this morning. Vivian, I'm going to turn it to you now because it feels like you've built a bag of tools to deal with this. How much of the battle was mental, with so much of this journey having to be done on your own steam, with your own kind of grit? How much of that battle was in your mind?
Well, that's why I've got this on my t-shirt, Saved by Amazing Grace, and I go with that. And to me it was like, I haven't got everybody, my family is there, they are sending me voice notes, they are sending you messages, but you are alone with your own thoughts. And I said to myself, I'm not going to let cancer get me. I'm going to get cancer. And that is what I did. And I took it day by day. And I brought that across to my kids, I brought that across to my family, and even having the mastectomy, because they asked me, but now, aren't you going to discuss that first, speak to your partner about it, what does they think? At the end of the day, it's my body, and it's what's going to save me. And I started putting me first. A lot of us ladies, as mothers, as wives, we tend to forget about ourselves. We're putting our partners, our kids, and then tomorrow's another, we'll get there.
Yeah.
And keep on.
Get through my list first,
yes,
and then I'll get there, yeah.
But I changed that around. I said, no, without them, then if I'm not there, then they're not there. So I need to put me first. And putting me first and walking that road first, building my strength, I could let they build their strength to support me as well.
I love that. You're going to have to write a book, I think, after this. Sinatemba, I've now gotten a full breakdown of what Sinatemba was asking. And he was asking if men can get breast cancer, and especially overweight men, if they are more vulnerable.
So obesity, first of all, I'm going to address the obesity question. And obesity is a risk factor for developing many types of cancer, including breast cancer. So yes, it will increase your risk of developing breast cancer, I would say. And then yes, absolutely, men can get breast cancer. And men, it's actually the American statistic is 1 in every 100 breast cancers that are diagnosed is actually a male breast cancer. That's American statistics. I mean, we don't have South African statistics in the same matter.
Yeah.
However, the problem with men is that first of all, they don't go for screening. There's I suppose they think screening doesn't apply to them.
There's no model for it, yeah.
No, there's no model for it. And men tend to ignore a lot of their symptoms. They don't do breast self-examinations. I mean, they're not, it's not something that's supposed to happen to men, or I think that's what the thought process that goes about it. So they tend to seek help late, and because they don't have such big breasts or bigger breasts or a lot of breast tissue, it tends to be far more advanced by the time it's diagnosed. And generally, male breast cancer is more genetically linked than female breast cancer, and it tends to be more aggressive. So if you are a male and you're watching this show and feel your breasts, get comfortable with them, and if you have a genetic predisposition, please go for screening.
Ruth, I'm going to close out very quickly with you. If I can ask you, having gone through this journey, if you had to be able to speak to yourself when that news broke and this mountain was laid before you, what would you say to Ruth then? What would you say to a woman who is about to embark on the same journey?
I would say accept what's happening, address it, and be positive about what's happening in your body. And there is always tomorrow. The treatment, everything else that goes with it, it's, it's prayers, and more prayers. That's what carried me through. And I'm thankful.
We are thankful. We are so grateful that you have joined us here this morning. I have a feeling this conversation is going to continue throughout our show, but certainly from this point onwards, hopefully beyond October. But thank you so much for the efforts that you are putting in to raise awareness. Doctor, thank you so much for your perspective this morning as well. This has been empowering for me to hear, knowing that this is where we stand. The support structures are there. Your tribe is there, ready to embrace you, but you do have to reach out and make sure you go for your yearly examinations. And if you have that voice in your head, trust your gut like Vivian, and you have the strength. It's your body, you take control.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Graham. Well, you know what? Health is so important to live life to the fullest. And when it comes to your diet, it also plays a huge role. Now, this next recipe is packed with healthy flavor punch.
Clover's range of margarines and spreads. Classic spread. Mama Bake.
Margie, how do you know what we like?
I know someone who knows.
Spread the Margie love.
Made with love by Clover.
Now, when it comes to healthy dinners, they don't have to be dull. Our classic baked sage lean chicken meatballs served with brown rice and creamy classic sauce makes for a really satisfying meal to help keep your health on track in a very delicious way. We have Nondomiso here to show us how to make our baked sage chicken meatballs.
Yes.
A nice variety, a nice little difference.
A nice little difference, yes indeed. So I'm going to prepare the minced chicken here. Do you mind chopping up the sage for me?
I'll chop up the sage. Any particular, like just finely chopped?
Just finely chopped. And so I'm going to be adding some breadcrumbs here. Now, if you don't eat chicken, you could always swap out the chicken for something like black beans or red speckled beans. I think that should also work fine. You just smush them up. And so I'm going to add some garlic, some parsley, some chili flakes, as well as some salt and pepper to taste, and some Parmesan. Okay, so we're going to just want to smush this all up and form it into little balls.
There we go. It's nice that you've got the gloves, and I see on the stove we've already got our pan, and you've used some of our classic Clover Mama Bake. So our Clover Classic is an ideal and versatile fat spread that can be used daily for spreading, cooking like Nondomiso is doing, as well as for baking. It contains 7 vitamins and is made with a touch of clover cream for a smoother spreadability, which is what you want. Do you need that sage?
Yes, please. Okay. So the nice thing about this dish is, of course, the fact that it's really warm, it's hearty. So yeah, I really think that it's a great dish in general,
a great
just
dish.
overall.
And I love that, you know, you are adding a lot of flavor by the different spices you've used.
Yeah.
And it's not that complicated of a recipe. I sometimes find that, you know, those very complicated ones, you just look at the recipe and you're like...
And you're overwhelmed, right? That happens.
I get overwhelmed.
Yeah, you get overwhelmed. I have the same thing as well, where like if it involves too many ingredients and you just get overwhelmed and you almost just don't want to do it, you don't want to make the meal. But this is nice because it's simple, it's easy, and you can just enjoy it, right?
So now you're taking the mixture and putting it into the meatball shape.
Yes, yes, yes. We want to just cook these until they've browned, and then we transfer them into the baking pan, and then we're going to prepare our sauce using the same pan and using, of course, the Clover Classic fat spread.
Oh, fantastic. Well, listen, if you want to get your hands on this recipe, it is available on our website, expressoshow.com. Just search for the baked sage chicken meatballs and you will find the ingredients list, the steps to making what Nondomiso is showing us how to make, and it really is that easy for you to follow.
Yes. Okay. So, obviously when you're at home, you're going to have a bit more time to just let these meatballs cook through nice and properly. And yeah, like I said, you just want to cook them until they've browned. And yeah. Okay. Then I'm just going to, just for the purposes of illustrating, do you know how to? Yeah. Okay. So just for the purpose of illustrating, we want to transfer these into our baking pan and use the same pan with the fat spread to just incorporate all these ingredients for our sauce. And for the sauce, we're using some onions and some Parmesan, some cream, as well as some chicken stock, and of course more sage.
Oh, fantastic. So you're going to show us now how to make the sauce for our chicken meatball bake.
Yeah.
So you're adding some onions.
Yes. Okay. You're going to pass me some of that fat spread. A little bit
Add
more.
a little bit more of that.
Yeah. And we want to saute these onions, of course, until they're translucent. So if you've got a bit more time, you would just cook them through And then we want to add in some garlic.
Oh, yes, garlic's always a must.
I know, right? And it just smells so wonderful. And then we're going to add in some of our chicken stock.
And of course, again, if you are going the vegetarian option, you can go for vegetable stock,
which is just as good. And of course, some people would disagree, actually. As no.
Really? Oh, no, I think it's incredible. Just getting those flavors into any dish, whether you're using your veg, beef, or chicken stock.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, so we want to cook this, and then we want to pour it all over our chicken meatballs, and then sprinkle some of that
with some Parmesan
yeah.
and pop it into the oven.
Yeah.
Nondamiso, this is incredible. So while that reduces, this recipe is available for you on our website, expressoshow.com. And if you've missed any of the steps, here's a recap for you.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beauties. We have been treated to the sweet sounds of Wicked World. Warming up all morning. They're going to be performing for you after I introduce you to the band in just a moment. But right now, let's get back into those news headlines.
Thank you, Graham. Starting off with national headlines, the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Senzo Mchunu, has committed himself to allocating more bulk water to Rand Water as an emergency measure to alleviate the shortage of water in Gauteng's metro areas, as well as other districts and local municipalities. Rand Water will be temporarily allowed to withdraw more than its usual quota to supplement its systems and meet demand. This follows after reservoir water levels in areas in Gauteng have dropped critically low. The metros affected are Johannesburg, Tshwane and Ekurhuleni. And staying with local news, the bigger union at Transnet, Untu, has signed a 3-year salary agreement with Transnet. In terms of the agreement, workers will receive 6% increase this year, followed by 5.5% increase next year, and another 6% in the third year. The other union at Transnet, Sourdough, condemned the signing of the wage agreement between Transnet and the majority union Untu. Sourdough's members will continue to strike until an agreement is reached with Transnet. Moving to the UK, the new UK Minister of Finance, Jeremy Hunt, yesterday scrapped Prime Minister Liz Truss's economic plan and scaled back her vast energy support scheme, making a historic policy U-turn in an attempt to try and stem a dramatic loss of investor confidence. The former Foreign Affairs and Health Minister was appointed on Friday after Truss sacked her close ally, Kwasi Kwarteng. Truss's spokesperson denied that Hunt was running the country after his new strategy sent the pound soaring and bond prices recovering. And staying with news abroad, Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan has expressed concern over the high birth rate in the East African country and urged citizens to take up birth control measures. It's a major reversal from the position of her predecessor, the late John Magufuli, who openly encouraged women not to use contraception. A 2020 World Bank estimate said that for Tanzania's fertility rate was at 4.8 births per woman. Tanzania has a population of some 60 million. And the world's biggest boy band, BTS, winner of 468 international awards, including Emmys, American Music, MTV, and Brit Awards, will soon be joining the South Korean military for at least 2 years for national service. This confirmed ends years of debate over whether the K-pop stars may be exempted from military duties, as in South Korea. All able-bodied men aged 18 to 28 must serve about 2 years. South Korea retains compulsory military services mainly because the country is still technically at war with its nuclear-armed neighbor, North Korea. Although the 7 BTS members were allowed to put off starting their military services until they turned 30, their agents said they had decided to follow through with their service. The eldest is 29 and the youngest 24. The K-pop group have been the world's best-selling artists for the past 2 years, known for catchy, upbeat hits like Dynamite and Butter. They've also been praised for their advocacy on young people's mental health and their view by many South Koreans as national treasures. Well, on that note, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take another look at sport with Graham.
When it comes to awards, Zoe, it doesn't get much bigger than this in the world of football. Let's start with the Ballon d'Or. And French striker Karim Benzema has won the coveted title at a ceremony, in a glittering ceremony at that, in Paris last night. The reward coming after his stunning performances helping Real Madrid win the Champions League and La Liga last season. So Benzema, who is the first French winner of the most prestigious individual prize in football since the great Zinedine Zidane in 1998, what an honor. He scored 44 goals in 46 games for his club, including 15 pretty crucial Champions League goals at critical opportunities. Then Barcelona's superstar Alexia Putellas, she retained the Women's Ballon d'Or, awarded to the best female footballer of 2022. Then Premier League champions, understandably, the Man City outfit, they had 6 nominees at the ceremony, and they were awarded Club of the Year. Thoroughly deserved there as well, I think. Then we move on to cricket. Some very positive signs ahead of the World Cup. The Proteas cruised to a 9-wicket win over New Zealand in their first T20 World Cup warm-up match. After winning the toss and opting to bowl, the Proteas dismissed the Black Caps for a paltry 98. Acting captain Keshav Maharaj stepping up, taking 3 for 17 in just 3 overs, while his fellow spinner Tobias Shamsi and seamer Wayne Parnell back in the fold also stood out with 2 wickets each. Then Riley Rousseau was 54 not out of 32 balls. Fellow opener Reza Hendricks 27 of 24. Then Aidan Markram was still at the crease on 16 as South Africa reached that total after just 12.1 overs. As I said, very positive signs ahead of the big showpiece. Now, this next story, not so much. Heartbreaking news, in fact. English rugby giants Wasps were yesterday placed into administration with all the players made redundant. Now, the second English club, in fact, in the Premiership to suffer the fate in just 3 weeks. Wasps were suspended from the crisis-torn English top flight last week after saying they were, quote, likely to enter administration. In confirmation of this widely expected move for Wasps Wasps Holdings Limited came in a statement from the administrators yesterday officially. Now, Wasps have been ever present in the Premiership since the competition began 25 years ago, so this really is a heartbreaking gateway that they've got to move through. And we expected yet another twist in this particular tale as we turn now to Formula One, and it in fact is McLaren's F1 boss, Zak Brown, who's weighed in. He's written a letter to the governing body, the FIA, in which he states that Red Bull breaking the budget cap is, quote, constituting cheating. And Brown calls for penalties that will hit Red Bull financially and on the track. Any team who have overspent have gained an unfair advantage both in the current and following year's car development. Again, that's a quote from the man. Brown added that the FIA should communicate subsequent action and penalties at pace to maintain the integrity of Formula One. I think a lot of people echoing that, but we'll watch that space closely. Right now, let's hope it's a little less controversial out on our roads as Zoe takes us through the traffic.
Thank you, Graham. And we start off with traffic in East London and the Eastern Cape. There's protest action on Black Road between East London and Mdantsane. Please use an alternative route this morning and please be careful. Then moving to Johannesburg, Sandton, there's a stationary vehicle on the N3 southbound after London Road. The left lane is closed. Please approach with caution. And in KwaZulu-Natal and Pietermaritzburg, there's ongoing roadworks on the N3 bi-directional between Armitage Road and Hilton Interchange. Lanes are restricted, so please drive carefully. Well, that's your traffic for this morning. Let's take another look at your weather.
Thank you so much, Zozo. Let's start with some news first. On this morning, we are still focusing on recycling e-waste, or at least we are greening it in the process. So much the better if the two can be combined. So if you are at that kind of, or are that kind of person who's forever forgetting to charge your wireless headphones, help may finally be at hand. This, as the first commercially available solar-powered headphones, look at those, are now actually on sale. So the models by Swedish and German firms both have solar panels built into their headbands. The solar-powered headphones have a built-in battery that can power up to 80 hours of playback time. And the panels can also create some power from artificial lights, such as indoor lighting. So the idea is that the headphones are always charging unless it's the dead of night. And the headphones also still have a power socket if backup power is required after heavy usage. Therefore, this is not only a matter of convenience, but more importantly, doing the right thing environmentally. We are here for that, and you get to enjoy some amazing tunes. Well, from environmental news, we head on over to take another look at some of your beautiful sunrise views. Vatakan, the OG, showing off this beautiful morning view with a bold tangerine hue lighting up the sky out in Richards Bay. Then Farmida from Westville captured this glorious shot from the top of the balcony overlooking some magnificent greenery. Look at that. The Nancy Governor sent in this pink-filled shot out in Pennington and KZN. Morning, Nancy, as always, starting her morning off with her stroll on the beach. And then last up, we've got Diane van der Hoeven from Howick in KZN. I always say one of my favorite parts of the world, the Midlands, showcasing these fluffy, beautiful clouds. Oh, look at that, and sparks of light radiating through a calming view. That has made my morning. Thank you so much. Keep them coming, guys. Share your morning views with us on 063-408-8863. All right, let's see what temperatures you have in store for you on this day. We're going to start on in Polokwane, where your low is 14, going to a high of 29. Mbombela, 17 and 31 degrees. Your range. Pretoria, 55% chance of rain, 15 and 27, your temperature range. Johannesburg, 67% chance of rain, your low 13, going up to 25. Mahikeng ranging between 15 and 27. Klerksdorp 16 and 27, slim chance of rain there as well. Kimberley, your low 17, going up to a high of 27. Bloemfontein 14 and 26, your range 63% chance of rain. Richards Bay, your low 21, going up to 29. Pietermaritzburg 17 and 27, your range. Durbs, your low 22, going up to a high of 26 degrees. Mthatha 17 is your low, going up to 27 degrees. East London ranging between 20 and 24. In Craddock, you can expect a 62% chance of rain with a low of 16 and a high of 30. Gqeberha, 18, your low, going up to 22 degrees. George, 15 and 22. Cape Town, your low, 15, going up to 22 degrees as well. Worcester ranging between 14 and 31. Sutherland, your low, 11, going up to 27 degrees. Uppington, you are well on your way. 20 is your low, going up to 31 degrees. And a little bit earlier on the show, our Zozo asked for your help. It is a Tuesday, after all, to choose between two beautiful and stylish dresses or a dress in a shirt style, which is pretty cool. She was down with both of them, but of course, you guys have the ultimate say. So let's see what you had to say about these two pretty funky and novel and quite chic dresses. Crystal Ramcharan saying option 2 will look beautiful on Zoe. I agree, the green color is her color. Kashifa Candice de Frisch saying the color will pop with your skin tone, girl. Option 2 there as well. Melissa saying definitely option 2 with a nice messy bun. Oh, she's taken it a step further. I don't know if we're going to take it that far. We'll have to chat to Zoe. Jeremy saying option 2 will look good on you, Zoe. Feroza option 2, loving the green. Valerie Hendricks saying white one is unique, but I don't know if she actually made a choice there. I agree, the white one is absolutely unique, but I think we had a winner there, and our Zozo has added a few little touches to it as well. No messy bun,
No
sorry,
messy
Melissa, but that looks gorgeous.
Thank you. And I mean, you can, this is one of those dresses that you can wear with some sandals, some wedges, some heels like I'm doing right now. And of course, you're finishing it off with this.
That's very cute. And a lot of people identifying, I've seen you dress up some green dresses. It does match your skin tone beautifully. You look gorgeous.
Thank you. I love
Absolutely
this.
love it. And the bag just makes it as well. Dress it up, dress it down. It is gorgeous on this girl. It'll be gorgeous on you. Feel fantastic this summer. Go and shop those summer dresses and more at Woolies right now, in-store, online, or on their amazing app. Nice. Well done.
Thank you.
Where's the messy bun?
I've been vibing. Yeah. Me and my folks all good. That sun is shining. Ay, till on my feet kicked up like I ain't trying. Yeah. This is what I want to summer, yeah. Gangs all here, let's run it, yeah. This is what I want to summer, yeah. Gangs all here, let's run it, yeah. Vibes right here, 100, yeah.
Only you can make my day.
New Revlon color stay matte like crayon. Play it up. Bold matte color goes on as easy as a crayon. Feels barely there. Super soft, 12 rocket poppin' shades. New Revlon color stay matte like crayon. Wanna play?
Tropica is back with the best of the best in the All-Star Season 10 of Tropica Island of Treasure. All the stars are competing to win big, and so can you. Simply buy a Tropica promo pack, follow the details and enter for your chance to win your share of thousands of smooth prizes. The more you buy, the more chances you stand to win. Catch the All-Star Season of Tropica Island of Treasure this Saturday evening at 6:30 only on S3. Tropica, nothing smoother.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast Show indeed. Welcome back to S3, and we're about to introduce you to Wicked World, a 4-piece South African band hailing from Cape Town. Now, they formed last year as an assortment of harmony-loving misfits who discovered they all had one key trait in common, and that is a passion for making music. Let's take a listen to them.
Arrived at work with my morning breath. Some things were best unseen. Some secrets best you keep. I was a tool for most of last night. I need a song, silly song for the next fight. When all else fails, can't make heads or tails. When all else fails, can't make heads or tails.
Oh, I love it, and they are in studio right now. Can we give them a feel-good welcome to Ruan, Craig, Rowan, and Edu from Wicked World? I love the individuality. I mean, how does it feel seeing yourself on TV right now?
Oh, great. Lovely. We put a lot of work into that video, so it's lucky to see it go.
Oh, amazing.
Very, very cool, yeah.
Ruan, I'm going to start off with you because you're closest to me, and then I'll just work my way down the couch. But you guys are all so different. How did you guys realize, hang on, we can work together and actually create some really cool music together?
I think all of us have had a love for music for a long time, and we were all kind of looking for our musical home, if you can call it that. And we definitely found it with the four of us. We are very much different, but we share a really beautiful thing together when we make music. There's definitely a magic that happens when we play together.
Definitely. And I mean, when it comes to your sound, I'm going to start off with you here, Rowan. Or Craig, I'm going to ask you.
No problem.
Your sound, it's very unique, and I think so often people want to box you into that, you know, indie folk. You got that indie rock folk grouping, but there's a bit more freedom to it because there's so much more. How would you describe the band sound?
Oh, wow. I mean, you know, it's really hard to describe that whole thing. It just comes out, and we just go with it. If it sounds great or cool to us, then chances are it's going to sound good to other folks. So, yeah, we just go with it.
You just go with it?
Yeah.
I love that. Now, Rowan, I'm going to ask you this question because, you know, your latest release, the song Music, obviously talks about the things you do after you've had one too many. What was the inspiration behind that song?
Yeah, I think it's... well, Craig wrote most of it. So
Make something up.
Okay.
What is your interpretation of the song?
My interpretation would be, you know, I mean, it focuses on having a night out and then, you know, the consequences of that, the consequences of your actions, and also then just kind of, you know, dropping things in your life that you don't necessarily need and doing what your passion is. So in that context, it's music.
Yeah. So, Craig, you obviously wrote this song, or most of it.
Rowan and I
co-wrote it. What was the idea behind it? I mean, have you been having those evenings where it's one too many and then...
Yeah. I mean, we all have. And then, but the chorus came from a thing my mom gave me. It's a little framed thingy that says, when words fail, music speaks. And during the COVID thing, I was just really feeling down by the whole thing, and a lot of musicians couldn't work and everything. So I spoke to my mom on that phone, and she said, have you looked at that thing that I gave you? And I said, no, and I looked at it, and that chorus came out, and then, you know, the verses just fell into place somehow.
Amazing. And I'm hoping...
Thanks, Mom.
You always have to say thanks to Mom.
Yeah.
Is that one of the songs you'll be performing for us today?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Edu, I need to ask you, what does it feel like to be part of Wicked World?
That's also difficult to describe, but I mean, it's absolutely... I'm grateful to be part of a band like this. It's a real honor to be working with guys that share the same love and passion. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Now, I think, Ruan, the big question is, where can people find you guys? Where can people stay up to date so that they can come and support you? I mean, the great thing is we are heading into festive, which means festivals are happening, performances are happening again. The world is going back to normal. And I think we are all so ready to make this a really good December.
Yes, we are as well. We just released our song Music on all the platforms. It's on Spotify, YouTube, Deezer, all the Apple Music, all those things. We are playing a couple of shows this weekend in Stellenbosch. Come check us at Daisy Jones and Valdivine. So if you want to come see us live, and we'll be releasing, we've got a lot of music in the bank. So there's a lot of music coming in the next year or two. And we'll be dropping a song every couple of months with the video. So please keep your eyes out. We are on Instagram, wickedworld_official. You can go see us there as well.
Well, there we go. wickedworld_officials, the account to keep your eyes tuned to. But of course, stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show because they have a few performances coming your way.
Thank you so much, Zozo. Let's get back in the kitchen. Oats, it's one of my staples, a traditional breakfast option. But if you struggle with lactose intolerance, then our no-lac brownie baked oats is an indulgent favorite that even your lactose intolerant loved one can enjoy. I think the whole family will absolutely love these. No. This is your vibe. This is your speed, girl. This is your vibe.
element.
Okay, I don't know who we were talking to earlier, but this is going to be so
exactly.
right now back in the kitchen.
Exactly.
There are a couple of things in here that are piquing my interest. I generally start my day with oats and a nut butter and maybe a little bit of a protein mixed in there if I'm going to do it. This is taking it to a whole different level. This is snack time. I love this.
It's literally elevating oats. It's making oats that went to private school.
Exactly.
Right?
Privileged oats.
Privileged oats, right?
Shame. It was oats might have been previously disadvantaged, but
with this
I'm trying to find a different way. Now, I've love the fact that you've got a food here that does punch way above its weight class. It is almost in that superfood space, you know, with the beta-glucans, and there's so many kind of health benefits to it. So we should be increasing our intake. But it can be tricky when you suffer from a lactose intolerance.
Yes.
Just in general, suffering from lactose intolerance can be it's major. And I know we make a joke of it often, but it can have a massive influence on your life.
Yeah, it does. And I think it's great when big brands like Clover actually respond to people's gastrointestinal needs, because you're right, people make fun of people with gastrointestinal issues. I've got IBS and people are like, oh, you know,
I have spastic colon.
Yeah, people think you're just trying to be bougie, and it's like, no, it's a real thing, you know, it's not
the modern human condition,
It really is.
I'm just trying to think how that kind of customer service call would have been. No, sir, we are looking after your gastrointestinal needs. We've got this particular product for you. But they do, and it's a market leader as a result, and it also tastes awesome, which is it really does help in our space because we're constantly creating these amazing recipes with it. So speaking of which, our nut butter, in this case, we're using a peanut butter, but I would imagine you've got about 9 other butters that you could throw in there.
I know. I know. So peanut butter is quite accessible, so that's the nice thing about it.
And you can get some salt-free, sugar-free versions. They've dressed it down. Thank you. They've answered the markets.
Yeah. But of course, you could also use cashew butter, or you could use almond and cinnamon butter, which, if you're feeling very extravagant,
I like that.
Okay, we're adding some maple.
Well, that's like oats that went to Eton in the UK. That's on a different level.
It's on a whole other level.
That's trust fund.
There's levels to this oats. Okay. Okay, so we've added some maple syrup. We smashed our bananas. Then we're going to add our dry ingredients. Of course, we've got some oats here.
I like the fact that the sweetness is coming from the maple syrup, which has quite an earthy taste. It's not overly sweet, not like a golden syrup or a brown sugar that is overly caramelized. It's got, like I say, quite an earthy flavor to it, and it does feel more natural somehow.
It does. It actually really does. But I think the most important thing that we try to do on the show is obviously to use ingredients that are more accessible. And easier for people to purchase. So of course, if you can afford the normal sort of regular syrup, then you do that.
Do
but
that,
maple
honey.
syrup,
Do it. Yeah.
And then, of course, we're going to add some cocoa powder, some baking powder, and fold in those chocolate chips.
Ooh.
Because what's a brownie without chocolate chips?
Chocolate chips. So the baking powder, because what does that do in this instance?
Well, baking powder is a raising agent, so it basically helps to just to create more air.
Okay, even in this, without even like a fuller dough. Okay, now the hero enters the fray.
Yes, enters the no-lac milk, and then of course we add that in.
And it's nice enough to literally drink by the glass, which is not the same for many of the products in this class. In fact, it might stand in a class of its own. If you experience cramps, bloating, maybe even nausea after consuming dairy, and I know a lot of people do, it may be that you are in fact lactose intolerant, but with Clover no-lac lactose-free range of milk and dairy snack, you can enjoy dairy again. It's versatile and it's delicious.
Yeah.
It really does work, and I mean, especially with kids, if you're kind of worried about this space, this is such a safe way to still enjoy the treats, the good things in life.
Yeah, because most people do struggle to break down
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that we all kind of lose our ability over time as well. So this is something that I love that you can make en masse. You can make a big batch. They can go into lunch boxes. They can go into your work lunch box.
Yes, that's the wonderful thing. You can store it and make it a couple of nights before, and then you just bake it off in the morning, and you've got yourself a snack, and that snack that you can actually just grab and go as well.
And do it, and it's going to fortify you. How long in the oven?
About 20 minutes in the oven, and you want to then slice it up, and you can enjoy it with the no-lac dairy snack.
100%.
Or if you want to be extra, you could use vanilla chocolate, turn it into a dessert.
Oh, I love it, with the almond cinnamon butter as well. If you love this recipe, go and check it out on expressoshow.com.
Yes,
the better.
That's very nice. It does.
Made with love by Clover.
Defeat your mucus monster, Mucofizz. Loosen mucus and phlegm for clearer airways. Brought to you by Pharmacodynamics.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
In an effort to help South Africans control and manage their blood pressure, South Africa's leading cardiovascular medicines provider, Pharmacodynamics, and the Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa have partnered to launch a brand new ultra-tasty cookbook called Dash, the dietary approach to stop hypertension. And here to tell us a bit more about it is someone who probably introduced me to hypertension, Nicole Jennings from Pharmacodynamics. Nicole, it's good to see you.
It's great to be here.
You look stress-free, girl.
Thank you.
You look calm.
I do what I can.
I think every time I've seen you over the last few years, it's been crazy times. So we, I think, are having an opportunity now to put the health focus back onto day-to-day lives, day-to-day activities, day-to-day pressures, and this is where hypertension steps in. Every time you come with the numbers that terrify me, and I would imagine it's the same now. So when we talk about hypertension, high blood pressure here in South Africa, how many people are affected?
Unfortunately, not good news.
Oh.
So if we look at people over the age of 15 years old, approximately 35% of South Africans are living with high blood pressure.
Over the age of 15?
Over the age of 15.
15.
35% of South Africans living with high blood pressure, and half of these people, unfortunately, are likely not aware that they actually suffer from high blood pressure.
This is terrifying, and as much as it's you can do something about it. You can be proactive. You can manage it. The longer your body stays in that state, the more difficult it is to deal with that. So that being said, what are some of the warning signs that we might be living with this undiagnosed?
So that, I think, brings us to why so many people don't actually realize that they have high blood pressure. It's generally referred to as the silent killer. The only way to really know whether you are living with high blood pressure is to actually get your high blood pressure tested. However, there are certain lifestyle factors that could put you at a bigger risk. So we call it the big four, and us South Africans are very guilty of many of them. One of them is excessive salt intake, also a diet high in saturated fat, alcohol consumption, and the use of tobacco products, things that are still relatively high in South Africa.
Stuff for the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, not for every day of the week. I get that. Now, we joke about it, but I take nothing away from the devastating effects that it can have. I've got to ask you this, because yes, there are those external factors, unhealthy diet being a big one. How do you weigh it up? Family history, hereditary, and family diet. Which is the big contributor here, do you think?
The biggest contributor definitely is lifestyle.
Really?
The Heart and Stroke Foundation reported 80% of cases in South Africa are as a result of lifestyle.
80.
And even people who do have hereditary high blood pressure can decrease their risk of a cardiovascular event down the line by changing their lifestyle. So there's no getting away from the fact that high blood pressure is a lifestyle disease.
Yeah, which means you have control.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't be a big, scary thing. Step in the DASH diet. Talk me through what the rationale here is. What are you trying to achieve with this beautiful little cookbook?
So the DASH Diet Cookbook is the latest in our edition, Cooking from the Heart. We've got 5 cookbooks in the series, but with the DASH one, we've really stepped it up a notch. So this is a scientific lifestyle recipe book. It focuses on increasing the intake of the minerals calcium, magnesium, and potassium. It's not just eating fruit and vegetables. And in the control diet, where we compared a normal healthy lifestyle, where you've got lots of fiber, healthy carbohydrates, fruit and vegetables, versus DASH, where you actually focus on those 3 microminerals.
On those nutrients.
It has a major impact on blood pressure in particular. So it really is a fantastic tool for anyone who drastically wants to decrease blood pressure through lifestyle change.
And I keep telling people this. You guys, because of your track record, because of the resources that you have at your disposal, the medical brains trust that you are able to plug into, this comes on the back of decades of research, tried and tested methods, working within this ecosystem of some of the most, I think, forward-thinking dietitians. So I love the fact that we get to lean on this in a very simple, easily absorbed, excuse the pun, little cookbook that we can all take home and deal with. So that being said, where do we get it? How do we get access to the DASH diet?
So we've got the DASH diet booklet is available in many practices, healthcare practitioners nationwide. So your GP might be able to provide you with a copy, but we also make a digital version available for free to anyone who wants to download this, and that is on the Cooking from the Heart website, so cookingfromtheheart.co.za, and there you'll see all of the different recipe book series, including a salt chart booklet, a braai edition. We've got just, whatever it is you're looking for, we've got something for you. But DASH, really, if you drastically want to decrease blood pressure, is a fantastic way to begin.
And there are all sorts of other benefits, the mental benefits. I've upped my magnesium in different ways, and it's made a massive difference to my mood, believe it or not. What you eat really does dictate how you feel. Oh, thank you so much. When you talk about Cooking from the Heart, what you guys do is you are so emotionally invested in everything that you bring to the market. So thank you so much for being that voice.
Absolutely.
And thank you for being so relaxed today, because we can all get there. I know it might feel that hypertension is kind of like the new human condition, but it is in our hands. We can be proactive, and a good place to start will be with the DASH diet. It will not only help those suffering from hypertension, but it is also a healthy eating plan that anyone can follow to regulate their blood pressure and be proactive. As I said, the DASH cookbook can be downloaded for free from cookingfromtheheart.co.za/recipes. It's that simple. Stay with us, because a little later we are going to be back in the kitchen cooking one of these delicious recipes from the DASH cookbook.
Thank you, Graham. Well, I think it's easy to underestimate how much hope we can give someone by simply paying them a sincere compliment. Now, Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, is still giving away an incredible 2,000 Rand cash prize to all of our lucky viewers. Now, all you had to do last week was tell us how you spread hope to those around you. And our lucky winner this morning is, can I get a drum roll, please? Congratulations, Amida. Now, this is what Amida wrote. She said, I always remind everyone around me that they are beautiful and strong and to be kind, even if I'm fighting internal battles on my own. I remind them. Hashtag Hopetober, hashtag sponsors of Brave. We actually have Amida on the line right now. Good morning.
Good morning, beautiful Expresso team. How are you doing this morning?
You are just a ray of sunshine and so positive. I love that. Now, we also heard that you have an original poem that you would like to share with us.
Yes, I do. I have an extract that I'm going to read quickly. I won't be long. It's time waits for no man. But because you are burdened by your reality, you don't see what's happening to humanity. Even when you are so blinded and you cannot see, don't give up. Don't give in. Don't forget to stay humble, even when you stumble. And once in a while, take a deep breath. Or take enough seat to regain your strength. There we go. I think that's my message. Don't give up and don't give in. Thank you.
Amida, that is so special, and I love the part where you said take a deep breath. I actually did that as you said that, and breathing out. Thank you. That is absolutely beautiful. Well, you are the winner of that 2,000 Rand cash prize. Any plans on how you're going to be spending it?
I'm keeping it for January for uniform and stationery.
That's very clever. And I think in January you will need that extra cash. Well, we want to say thank you for that beautiful poem. And of course, enjoy that 2,000 Rand. It is yours. And thank you for spreading hope this morning.
Thank you. You give me hope as well.
Oh, thank you. That was Amida Brav, our winner this morning. And if you want to be the next lucky winner of a 2,000 Rand cash prize, all you need to do is, of course, that's courtesy of Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Be on the lookout for the weekly competition question on Expresso Show's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. Good luck.
Hopetober is a month of hope, brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, inspiring communities one pharmacy at a time.
Welcome back, you beauties. Thank you so much for keeping it locked on what has been a truly inspirational Tuesday morning, and Tuesday night is looking pretty good as well. So tonight on Colour Your Plate with Koo at 7 p.m, of course on SABC2, the heat is on now as the top 8 contestants, they take on their first cooking challenge. This is the big one. So working as pairs for the first time as well, just to add a bit more spice, they must create a unique plate of food that tells their combined heritage story. Now joining the panel is a guest judge, renowned chef and culinary school owner, Jackie Cameron, a legend in the industry. The show is not to be ingredients. And you can head over to Koo's social media channels and then post that photo and the meal description. Please, we want a bit of an explanation to get your story. And then also hashtag it, Colour Your Plate with Koo. And keep that in the comment section of the competition post. And then don't miss, of course, tonight's episode at 7 p.m. for that inspiration. Plus, you're going to get to see who makes it through to the next round of the competition. The stakes are getting high. Just take a look at this.
This Tuesday evening at 7 on Colour Your Plate with Koo, the top 8 contenders are forced to work together for the first time in the competition.
Okay, I'm gonna get it in now, eh?
They are falling apart and I'm falling apart.
And joining the judging panel is one of SA's top chefs and cooking school owners.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's Colour Your Plate with Koo, Tuesday evenings at 7, only on SABC2.
Well, listen, before the break, Pharma Dynamics revealed that over 35% of South Africans over the age of 15, they are living with high blood pressure, and that 80% of these cases are actually due to lifestyle. So what's the best way to combat hypertension? Well, right here in the kitchen with a delicious blood pressure-friendly aromatic citrus chicken recipe. And this is straight from the Dash Diet Cookbook, which is available for download for free. I feel like we need to point that out. It is for free. And I love it when, you know, you get people that just want to look after your well-being.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's these lifestyle choices we need to tweak in order to make sure we have a healthier life.
We kind of, all of us, build up these barriers to that version of ourselves that we want to get to, and 90% of them are in our head. So to have big business getting behind us in this way, like Pharma Dynamics have with the Dash book, it's just amazing. So let's get into it. This is delicious. It's like good value meal because you're going to get so much flavor out of this. And I have a feeling this is going to become one of your weekly meals.
Oh.
It's just beautiful like that.
Take me through it. So
okay,
you're
so
going to start
lots
off with a
and
marinade.
lots of flavor. It's all about the marinade in this case, and also the cut of the chicken that we've chosen. Now, I've moved across to breasts on the bone now with the skin almost always because you get the flavor. It just cooks beautifully on the bone. It keeps it a lot more moist, and the skin obviously adds a whole different flavor profile. So what we've got here, apricots in a little bit of rooibos tea. And we know that the health benefits of rooibos, I think they barely even tapped into that. So we're going to put that in there, nice syrupy vibe. And then I'm going to make our marinade. What I'm going to ask you to do in the meantime is if you can cut us some nice segments of that orange. I suppose we should have used a blood orange for our blood pressure meal, but we're going with a normal orange and a whole lot of citrus flavor and layers to that flavor. So I'm going to start now with our paprika. You can go with smoked paprika if you love that vibe. A little bit of tomato sauce. And the tomato sauce is good because it will naturally have a sweetness to it, the tomato sauce, to balance things out. Then we've got some cumin going in there. We've got a little bit of lemon juice.
Oh, and these are all great flavor profiles.
Exactly, and complementary, I think, as well. Then we've got our orange juice. You know, the anti-inflammatory diet has been such a big thing, you know, turmeric, big. Olive oil. Actually, a low dose of olive oil every day has the same effect as a low dose of ibuprofen. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
It is that anti-inflammatory. So a little bit of olive oil every day is a must. Then we've got some fresh herbs, chopped parsley here going to the mix. Then to ramp it up, we've got some dried coriander, which I can actually stomach. I can do the dried, not the fresh. That's a vibe. Then we've got some fresh garlic, also great immune booster there. Then we've got our orange zest and ginger.
Ah, we love the ginger.
And the orange and ginger, is that not just a marriage made in heaven? If you could just get a whiff of that.
Ooh,
hey, how beautiful is that?
Beautiful flavor profile. That's going to go so well with the chicken. We've already got our apricots soaked in some rooibos there.
I mean, I would make a lot of this marinade and just bottle it, keep it in the fridge. It is so delicious. And, you know, I was plugging all of our foodies for, like, how long do I need to marinate it overnight? They say just at least half an hour. just to let the flavors kind of really infuse. But the longer you leave it in,
the more flavor
you're going to develop. So half an hour in the fridge as well. You must put it in the fridge to warm down.
So while you put it into our baking tray, our dish over there, the Dash Diet Cookbook, it highlights which foods are rich in these micronutrients. So download it for free. You can get it at Cooking from the Heart, and that is available at cookingfromtheheart.co.za. Reduce your salt and fat intake and alcohol, as well as your tobacco intake. And then, of course, this is going to be such a delicious dish. I'm going to be downloading that booklet because I think
I'm making this
loads of meal inspo.
Yeah, and I'm making this tonight, and then I'm going to finish it off with the little orange slices.
The slices I have prepared, so I'm going to come and put it over here, and then we're going to pop it into the oven on 180 degrees for about 45 minutes or so. Yes.
Yeah, and I would do it, you know, the 180, the lower heat for slightly longer, I think will just help those flavors develop, and then you're going to get the caramelization of all of the sugars in there. You can pop that foil over, and voila, what we've done is we've served it with some beautiful butternut, and we've got a bean mash here, just to further compound the health.
Okay, you need to cut that chicken open because I feel like this is where the magic lies. Look at that beautiful color.
Oh, and it's so succulent.
Juicy.
And see, and that's why. Cook it on the bone. Just try it. If you're used to dried up old chicken.
Well, we're going to say goodbye to dried up chicken.
Yeah.
Oh, G-Man, you take a taste, but if you want to get your hands on this delicious aromatic citrus chicken recipe, plus other blood pressure friendly recipes, make sure you download the Dash Diet Cookbook for free from cookingfromtheheart.co.za.
That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm taking this. It's breakfast.
Dad, I hope you're ready. We've got to go. Guys! Okay, guys, come on.
We connect all of Mzansi so that everyone can be more of what they're made of. Live your Monate.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beauties. Just in time for our first performance this morning. Having been treated to a private performance in the sound checks alone, I'm so excited for you to hear Wicked World. There is a whole lot of positivity woven into this band. You guys have a message. Maybe it's the journey we've been on for the last few years, the creative process of coming out of COVID. But Rowan, I've got to ask you guys, for a band that seems to be filled with so much hope and able to translate that into your music, what is your hope for this crazy country of ours? What's your message of hope, bro?
I think it's important for all of us to not give up hope.
Yeah.
You know, keep your head going and keep your eye on what you want and go for it. Don't sit back and wait for it to come to you. Go fetch it.
Yeah, and when words fail,
music speaks.
Music, my friends, and that's what we've got for you right now. Here is Wicked World with music.
Feels in the red. This morning your eyes feel deaf. Some things were best unseen. Some secrets best you keep. I made a fool of myself last night. Intentions good and then some in spite of being wrong when I thought I was too right. I need a song, city song for the next fight. When all else fails, hear me get the tears. When all else fails, music, 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 music. Fell out of bed, arrived at work with my morning breath. Some things were best unseen. Some secrets best you keep. I waited to myself last night. I need a song, city song for the next fight. When all else fails, give me a tears. When all else fails, give me a tears. When all else fails, music, 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 music. When all else fails, give me a tears. When all else fails, give me a tears. When all else fails, music, 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 music. Music, music, music.
Yes, man. That is how you spread hope. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I wish we could give you fields of screaming fans at a festival, but the 9 of us will do our best this morning, and you've inspired us. Hopefully you've felt that joy, felt that hope this morning. There is always a way. These guys aren't going anywhere. Wicked World got 2 more performances just for me and you as well. Now we go into those news headlines.
Well, it's a few minutes before 8 o'clock. Let's take a final look at your morning headlines, starting off with national news. Cape Town's iconic Table Mountain has retained its crown as Africa's leading tourist attraction at the World Travel Awards. This is the 4th year in a row that the attraction has claimed the top spot. Managing Director for Table Mountain Aerial Cableway Company, Wahida Parker, said, and I quote, "We are very proud. COVID was bad for us, but we didn't lose our smile and we didn't lose our visitor-centric behavior and attitude." Staying with local news, the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Senzo Mchunu, has committed himself to allocating more bulk water to Rand Water as an emergency measure to alleviate the shortage of water in Gauteng's metro areas as well as other districts and local municipalities. Rand Water will be temporarily allowed to withdraw more than its usual quota to supplement its system and meet demand. This follows after reservoir water levels in areas in Gauteng have dropped critically low. The metros affected are Johannesburg, Tshwane and Ekurhuleni. Moving to news abroad, the Serum Institute of India plans to manufacture 20 to 30,000 doses of an experimental Ebola vaccine for use against the outbreak in Uganda. The response to the outbreak has been blunted by the absence of the vaccine against the Sudan strain. Vaccines against the more common Zaire strain of Ebola have proven highly effective during recent outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. There have been 54 confirmed cases and 19 deaths since last month, and the first case in the capital, Kampala, was recorded last week. And the new UK Minister of Finance, Jeremy Hunt, yesterday scrapped Prime Minister Liz Truss's economic plan and scaled back her vast energy support scheme, making a historic policy U-turn in an attempt to try and stem a dramatic loss of investor confidence. The former Foreign Affairs and Health Minister was appointed on Friday after Truss sacked her close ally, Kwasi Kwarteng. Truss's spokesperson denied that Hunt was running the country after his new strategy sent the pound soaring and bond prices recovering. And bringing it back home, the vibrant town of Worcester in the Western Cape has long been known as the Cape capital of SA. The Pioneer School for the Visually Impaired and the Innovation Centre for the Blind are both located in the town. Both entities invest significantly in empowering persons with different abilities for self-sufficiency and independence. Endorsing this powerful philosophy, the Karoo Desert National Botanical Garden in Worcester, home to some of the most spectacular plants on Earth, has recently opened its Braille Trail, the first of its kind in South Africa. The trail is an accessible 154-meter route in the National Botanical Garden that allows persons with different abilities, not only to those who are visually impaired, to enjoy the unique beauty of South Africa's arid and semi-arid flora. Visitors can handle the plants displayed in raised beds. It features comprehensive Braille signage, wheelchair accessibility, and includes an interactive exhibition of the common rocks of the Karoo for visitors to touch, feel, and learn more from. Now everyone can learn more about the unique Karoo biome and how vulnerable and beautiful it is, and this is according to the garden's Liz Labuschagne. Well, that's where I leave your morning headlines. Let's take a final look at your sport with Graham.
Thank you so much, Zozo. Let's start with the top honours in football. French striker Karim Benzema won the Ballon d'Or at a glittering ceremony in Paris last night. The reward coming after his stunning performances helped Real Madrid, of course, win the Champions League and La Liga last season and do it in style. Benzema, who is the first French winner of the most prestigious individual prize in football since the great Zinedine Zidane in 1998, I mean, what footsteps to follow, scored 44 goals in 46 games for his club, including 15 pretty crucial Champions League goals as well, and he received the award from his mentor as well, which was amazing. Then Barcelona's Alexa Putellas, he retained the women's Ballon d'Or, and that of course for the best female footballer of 2022. Then Premier League champions, understandably, Man City, they had 6 nominees at the ceremony. They were awarded Club of the Year and thoroughly deserved there, I think, as well. Then on to cricket, some positive signs ahead of the T20 World Cup. Yesterday, the Proteas cruised to a 9-wicket win over New Zealand in their first T20 World Cup warm-up match. After winning the toss and opting to bowl first, the Proteas dismissed the Black Caps for a paltry 98. And it was acting captain at the time, Keshav Maharaj, who weighed in with 3 wickets for just 17 in 3 overs, while fellow spinner Tobias Shamsi and seamer Wayne Parnell, looking back to his best, also stood out with 2 wickets apiece. Then with bat in hand, Riley Rousseau was 54 not out of 32 balls. Fellow opener Reza Hendricks weighed in with 27 of 24. Then Aidan Markram was still at the crease on 16 as South Africa reached that total after just 12.1 overs. Let's hope they can maintain that momentum going into the World Cup. Then on to rugby news. We hate reporting on these kinds of stories, and certainly with a club that has this kind of history. English rugby giants Wasps were yesterday placed into administration with all the players made redundant. Now, this is the second English Premiership club to suffer the fate in just 3 weeks. So Wasps were suspended from the crisis-torn English top flight last week. It was after they saying they were likely to enter administration. And confirmation of the widely expected move for Wasps Holdings Limited came in a statement from the administrators officially yesterday. Wasps have been ever present in the Premiership since the competition began, in fact, 25 years ago, and they've helped to birth many amazing rugby careers, so hopefully they can find a way back. Then finally, we turn to Formula One. We expected a few more twists in this tale, and now McLaren's F1 boss, Zak Brown, is the latest to weigh in. He has written a letter to the governing body, the FIA, in which he says that Red Bull breaking the budget cap is, quote, constituting cheating. Now, Brown calls for penalties that will hit Red Bull financially and on the track. And quoting him again, any team who have overspent have gained an unfair advantage both in the current and following years' cars development. And Brown added that the FIA should, quote, communicate subsequent action and penalties at pace to maintain the integrity of Formula One. So I don't think that one's going to be laid to rest anytime soon, but that's where we leave our sport for this morning. Hopefully a lot less controversial is the traffic, and Zozo's got the latest.
Thank you, Graham. Well, let's look at your traffic in Cape Town, Bottasig. There's slow-moving traffic on the N7 northbound, and this is going towards Bosmansdam Road. Please make sure to add some extra travel time to your journey this morning. Then in Johannesburg, Bedford View, there's a multi-vehicle accident on the N3 northbound from after Van Buren. Both right lanes are currently closed. Expect heavy delays. And then in the Eastern Cape and East London, there's a reminder that there's still protest action on Black Road between East London and Mdantsane. Please use an alternative route this morning, and please be careful. Well, that's where we leave your traffic this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much. So let's start with a bit of weather news, and please, something that you do have to take note of if you're in the affected areas. The South African Weather Service has now issued yet another yellow level 2 warning for severe thunderstorms, resulting in localized flooding and damages to infrastructure. And that's expected over the western interior of KwaZulu-Natal and southeastern parts of Mpumalanga from this afternoon. The Weather Service said that the thunderstorms are expected to be accompanied by very strong damaging winds, excessive lightning, and then heavy downpours. And meanwhile, the wildfires in the Kagisano Malopo local municipality out in the northwest are now thankfully under control after some welcome rainfall. And Working on Fire has confirmed that they will monitor the situation where at least 75,000 hectares of grazing was destroyed by the fires, unfortunately. The communications officer for Working on Fire in the northwest, Mariah Letshole, says that 134 firefighters are currently on standby in the Ganyasa area should the fires flare up again. And then for our final weather update, we had some beautiful photos sent in. This one from Eileen from Somerset West. Look at that. Captured this beautiful shot whilst walking the dogs as the sun peaks up just over the hill. Then Nokutula snapped this shot from her home as the sun starts to rise through the clouds. I love it. Then Owen Granger. Good morning, Owen. He sent us hourly updates. In fact, in this one, showing off some stunning bright orange shades. Wow, lighting up the lake. And then last up, we've got Lee Barnard, who snapped this beam of light reflecting over the field out in Brooklyn as he starts his morning with a jog. Go and conquer your day. Thank you so much. We absolutely adore your photos. Thank you so much for letting us see what your neck of the woods looks like. Keep them coming. Send images, videos to our WhatsApp line 063 408 8863. All right, it's going to be a hot day in places, and of course some rain to be aware of. Let's start with those temperatures in Polokwane. 14 is your low, going up to 29 degrees in Bombela, 17 and 31 your range. Pretoria, 15 your low, going up to a high of 27 degrees with a 55% chance of rain. 67% chance of rain in Johannesburg, where your low is 13, going up to a high of 25. Mahikeng ranging between 15 and 27 with a chance of rain there as well. Likewise in Klerksdorp, where your temperature range is 16 and 27. Kimberley, you start your day on 17, going up to 27 degrees. Bloemfontein, you can expect expect 63% chance of rain with thunder showers. 14 is your low, going up to 26. Richards Bay, chance of rain there as well. 21 your low, 29 your high. Pietermaritzburg, 17 your low, going up to 27 degrees. Durban ranging between 22 and 26 degrees. Mthatha 17 and 27. East London, your low 20, going up to 24 degrees. Cradock 16, your low, going up to 30. Gqeberha 18 is where you start your day. 22 is your high. George similar, 15 and 22 your range. The mother city as well, 15 your low, going up to only 22 degrees. Worcester, warm one, 14 is your low, going up to 31. Sutherland 11 and 27 degrees. Then Uppington, your day has already started. 20 degrees is your minimum, going up to 31 degrees. If you feel the heat, please stay out of the sun, and in those rain-affected areas, be extra vigilant. But as we always say, have a beautiful day regardless of the weather.
Oh, thank you, G-Man. Well, listen, I think it's time for us to make the most of the warmer weather and plan a road trip with your loved ones. Now, what do you want out of a holiday? Is it an adventurous day out in the country or a few days of rest and relaxation? Are you perhaps looking to learn more about history or indulging in the modern approach to winemaking? And when it comes to food, do you prefer luxury or lekker? Well, whatever you are looking for, the Cape Winelands celebrates South African hospitality and its finest, and also has something for everyone. And the good news is that MasterCard holders can get a whole host of discounts and deals when visiting the Cape Winelands in Stellenbosch, Franschhoek and Constantia. Go visit priceless.com/travel in South Africa. So that's priceless.com/travel in South Africa today, and choose any of the experiences that your heart desires. All offers are valid until the 31st of December, so you have plenty of time to treat yourself and perhaps even plan a full getaway for the whole family. But you know why? Because you deserve it.
This week on Tropica Island of Treasure All-Stars.
The game is on for everyone. This is for elimination.
What is going on?
Yo, that was a close one. He's wading the water like Shakira.
This is absolutely neck and neck.
Let's do this.
Stay smooth with Tropica Island of Treasure All-Stars this Saturday evening at 6:30. Repeat Monday night at 9. Only on S3.
James is on a long overdue holiday. All because he chose to invest in an electronic Optimum Plus account.
Yes. Seriously.
Be like James. Open a Nedbank Electronic Optimum Plus account and get an effective interest rate of up to 12.4%.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. When I said we're going to save the planet today, I really wasn't joking. And it starts with us, but it's going to be handed over to our children. Today marks the end of Global Climate Change Week. However, the conversation around how we can all contribute to taking our world to a sustainable, resilient, and zero-carbon future must and will continue. And we're joined in studio by Salri Ori from Green School South Africa to talk about some of the work that they are doing with kids to create eco-activists. And we put it to you guys, and I'm going to reiterate this, to tell us how you are chatting to your kids. Have you spoken to your little ones about climate change, about what we all can do? Is it painting a dire picture? What has their response been? How do you start? When do you start? What age? I'm hoping Salri is going to answer every single one of those questions for me, because this is your playground.
Yeah.
You work for the Green School South Africa, which is quite a massive thing. I've got to ask the bigger questions first before we get into the dynamics of what you do, but it seems like the world is a scary place at the moment. We've got all the tools to process this emotionally, intellectually, and otherwise. We've made most of the mistakes, so our generations have. With young ones, it's a very different prospect. We look at the world now, KZN experiencing floods. South Africa is not exempt from climate change. Where are we when you kind of look at that line in the sand, if you will, that we cannot move past? How close to that are we?
Well, without going to a doomsday clock scenario, I think we're just about 2 millimeters away from the line.
Yeah.
It's a very real situation, and it's absolutely terrifying if you think about it. And there's a lot of this media out there that our children are actually exposed to, and they can see all of these things. And it is a very real situation. It's not something we can stop anymore. It's something we have to manage.
And we've got media with an agenda as well. Unfortunately, any news consumed online has an agenda or is being used to push something else, unfortunately. But the news itself, the real stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you've said that, because maybe it is a bit of a doomsday situation and we've got to do something about it. We are fighting this battle on multiple fronts at the moment. E-commerce, e-waste rather, a massive kind of front line, if you will, at the moment. How do we approach that from an education perspective? Because we are so technologically reliant, our kids even more so.
Yes, they are. So technology is beautiful and powerful, but what do you do with that tool when it is, no longer working and redundant? And what do you do? So to make that recycling a real and authentic activity that you actually engage in, and not just a lip service or a greenwashing, you actually have to go and do your homework. So you start small. You start, okay, where am I going to find places that can actually responsibly and ethically dispose of these things?
Process the stuff.
Yeah, so you need to go and do your research. Who in my area or in the bigger town closer to me, if you're in a small town, actually has the ability and is registered and certified to do it properly? And once you've got that, then you have to actually accumulate enough of it to make an impact. So that's where you start talking to your friends and to your other schools.
Yeah, completely. Well, and then you've created a demand for which there is an answer, i.e. a new product or service by an entrepreneur. And I saw this during lockdown when we couldn't dispose of waste and all of us suddenly had to process our own. And I've now got like 5 different organic processes and all these different things. And it was a lot easier and more accessible than I thought. It just required connecting with people. Another area that concerns me greatly is wildlife. And it feels like, well, yes, we are winning in some spaces in terms of perception, and a lot that was okay a couple of years ago is not okay anymore, which is wonderful. There is still a massive impact on wildlife. What are the current wildlife stats when you look at the bigger picture? How much of wildlife and beautiful creatures like these, like the polar bear, I get goosebumps even as I say that name because I'm terrified for its future, how are they being affected?
So climate change really affects, especially, I mean, you just had a turtle up there. If we just look at turtles, they have their whole life cycle surrounds or is around our coastal regions. So when you get climate change impacting those regions, it means that our beaches are hotter. That means that only females are being born. So it impacts how that generation is going to propagate. It also impacts...
So you're saying the turtles are winning, basically? Because
well,
women
they're winning the whole... We're not going to go there.
But that's crazy, because you don't often think about the knock-on effect in that way. You think, okay, that's, you know, the animals are dying, but what about reproductive cycles? What about food chains? What about space to roam and move?
And if you look at wild dogs, I mean, they are temperature sensitive, so they would rather go and hunt during the cooler time of the day. But if the cooler time of the day window becomes smaller and there's less animals to go there because they can't feed anymore. Packs are becoming smaller, their pups aren't surviving, so that knock-on fills in there. So,
and I'm loving from a teaching perspective, it's almost awesome that this is such a dynamic issue, because there's so many lead-in points that will excite a child. Does he love wildlife? Does he love the sea? Does he love turtles? Does he love rhinos? There are ways that you can get that emotional investment. I love that as well. On the flip side of that coin, I heard the term being used, ecophobia. A global survey depicting that kids are actually being terrified by this mass media, this notion of where our climate is going. Can you fill me in a bit more on that?
So it was a survey done by a variety of universities, but it was published by Bath. And they basically interviewed 10,000 children from 10 different countries, and they all took part in this. And the questionnaire, or the survey, was focused around how the children feel about climate change and what they feel about government's response to that. And the outcome, now these were people, young people between 16 and 25 years old. So they had this helplessness. And the moment there's a helplessness or a lack of tools or a lack of coping mechanisms, you really start to feel that burden of what am I going to live in one day? And one day I have to have children, and why should I? And then that horrible cycle of you know, degradation is just like the planets. You know, you've got that whole feeling of I'm going down. And it's important that we actually battle or combat that, because you really have to make sure that our youth are still hopeful.
Yeah, and hopeful, because it's an emotional battle, it's a physical battle, it's a practical battle. But the bottom line is, it's not too late. We might be 2 millimeters away, but we own those 2 millimeters. They belong to us, not to this problem. I absolutely love this conversation. Sourdough, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to delve a bit deeper into how the Green Schools South Africa are combating this and changing this mindset, reframing this battle within young people. Absolutely amazing. But again, keep those voice notes coming. How are you having this conversation with your kids about the current climate crisis that we are in? 063-888-808. I'll actually remember it at some point. And we will get that WhatsApp line to you now. Oh, there it is on screen. Please send through your WhatsApp voice notes. We'd love to hear from you, especially if you are working in this space.
Oh, thanks, G-Man. You know what? That WhatsApp line is so easy to mistaken for your own number. So that number is 063-408-8863. And of course, our Good Morning post this morning was, it's Global Climate Change Week, with activities and discussions taking place around the world. And our question to you was, do you talk to your children about climate change, and what can you do to help? And this is what you had to say on your voice notes. Let's take a listen to the first one.
Good morning, Expresso team. I am Veronica from Free State. Yes, I do teach my children about climate change. We actually sing the rhyme, reduce, reuse, recycle, so that they know the ways on how to keep the earth healthy.
Oh, Veronica, that is so special. I love the little song, refuse, reuse, recycle. That is amazing. Let's take a listen to Amber's voice note.
Hi, Expresso Show. I think it's important to teach our kids about reusing things rather than throwing everything away, and recycling it properly. And also, when you see a piece of litter, even if it's not yours, to pick it up and dispose of it properly.
Oh, well, there we go. I am loving it. If you would love to weigh in, please do so. Our WhatsApp line is 063-408-8863. Let us know, do you talk to your children about climate change and what you can do to help? That is our question today.
063-408-8863. We got it. I almost gave you my cell phone number a moment ago. Thank you so much, Zoe. Keep that conversation going. Now let's continue with another common thread through this month, hope. Hope can be many things to all of us. Words of encouragement, maybe even just a smile from a random stranger, or someone simply checking in with you, or you checking in with someone else. And Adcock Ingram OTC, the sponsors of Brave, continue to spread hope and spoil our viewers with a chance of winning 2,000 Rand cash daily. So this this week, we wanted to hear all about what hope means to you, and we had some beautiful contributions. So thank you so much to everyone who entered, but only one can walk away with the prize. And this morning, our lucky winner is... Well done. That was the most energy I could muster. Shorazan wrote this. She said, hope means that whatever you're going through, you still believe in better days and staying positive. Bravery is after every failure or heartbreak, you still live your life. Hashtag Hopetober, hashtag sponsors of Brave. And we've got this very brave individual online right now. Shorazan, a very good morning. How are you?
I'm good, and you, Graham?
Oh, I'm very good. You sound so... I could feel your excitement, actually, before I could hear your voice coming through in waves across the TV. First of all, congratulations. 2,000 Rand headed your way. How do you feel that you're a winner?
I'm so excited.
I can hear it, and I love it. I hope you're going to spend some of that 2,000 Rand on yourself, but you seem like the person who's going to spend it on someone else. Now, I'm going to get a little bit deep here because it's just that kind of a day, but listening to your words, I kind of get a sense that you've been through some stuff, that you've been forced to dig deep to find that hope within yourself. What does hope mean to you, and how can we spread more hope in this beautiful country of ours? How do you feel about that?
I just think hope means staying positive, you know. You have the ability to take charge of your thoughts and your attitude and lift your life to new levels.
I love it. What do you do for a living?
I'm unemployed at the moment.
Girl, there is a career waiting for you. You're an unbelievably motivational person with a beautiful energy, and I meet thousands of people almost daily. There is a calling waiting for you. Your words have really hit home for me. So whatever you've gone through to earn this perspective and build this kind of inner strength, thank you so much for being brave enough to share this positivity, because I agree with you. It is a choice. Thank you so, so much. What are you going to buy with the 2,000 Rand?
Don't know yet, but definitely going to spoil myself.
You deserve it, sister. You deserve it. Thank you so much for helping us spread hope through this Hopetober. We love you for that. Thank you, and congratulations, girl.
Thank you, Graham.
Oh, man, I absolutely adore that. She has such a beautiful turn of phrase. And I have to reiterate, positivity is a choice, and it starts with you. So whatever you are going through, keep reminding yourself that, yes, better days are just around the corner. And if you're looking to be our next lucky winner of a 2,000 Rand cash prize just for you, courtesy of Adcock Ingram OTC, the sponsors of Brave, look out for the weekly competition question. That's on our Expresso Show Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages. And of course, don't forget that all-important hashtag Hopetober and sponsors of Brave.
Hopetober is a month of hope, brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, inspiring communities one pharmacy at a time.
This one goes out to the brave ones who make it through no matter what's facing you.
Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave, are spreading hope this October in honor of you.
So stand a chance of winning 2,000 Rand daily by answering the weekly Hopetober competition question on the Expresso Facebook, Twitter or Instagram pages using the hashtag Hopetober and hashtag sponsors of Brave.
This competition closes Friday the 28th of October. T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we continue our focus on the environment today. Now, South Africa is often referred to as the world's most unequal country on levels, where a large part of the population lives without access to clean and safe water, just as a basic. Now, climate change is a threat to everyone's physical health, but some groups, socially and economically disadvantaged ones, face the greatest risks of all. And we are joined in studio by Gabriel Klaassen from African Climate Alliance to talk about their work of reconciling environmental justice and social justice, a link that I unfortunately think we are not making. And even as I say these words, light bulbs are starting to go because it's all one ecosystem, to be quite honest, to use that term again. So Gabriel, thank you for doing the work that you do every day. But thank you for joining us during a very important time. I mean, as much as we want this to be a year-long conversation, while we've got the opportunity for heightened awareness and people connected, let's use it. This feels quite political, brother, which is maybe where it needs to go. Because for far too long, climate is there, and then politics is there, and then personal life is here.
Nothing is finding itself here.
So please explain to us, as simply as you can, the link between social justice and climate change.
So in its essence, in its truest essence, climate justice is social justice, is economic justice. We've heard this before, but what does it actually mean? I mean, the fact that so many people on the ground experience floods, droughts at a harder and more affected rate. We've seen in KZN, we've
Look
seen
what's going on right now, this afternoon.
We've acknowledged that, but people don't find the link for some reason. And I think it's intentionally so. The less people are interested in kind of being a part of something, the less action happens, the more destruction continues. And so a true link is just acknowledging the fact that because of the droughts that we are facing, there comes food insecurity, there comes hunger, there comes thirst, and more issues on the social side as well. So that's how the injustice
is a burden on everyone. Your tax will pay for that burden. So you've got to make those links. And it's not to say that we're not getting it right in pockets. Unfortunately, when you've got things like green tax on the financial side, things that make it so much easier to just pay for the problem as opposed to find a sustainable solution. Yeah, and it's great to have nothing away from what's being done in certain areas again, but then step in your non-profit organization, African Climate Alliance. What do you do, what do you stand for, and how can we help?
Yeah, so African Climate Alliance is a youth-led, grassroots movement-based organization across Africa, and we work and act and advocate for social and economic justice, ecological justice as well. We believe that the only way we can achieve that is together, through an intergenerational movement. And so while it's youth-led, everyone needs to be a part of this fight. We believe that a world can be defined for us, by us.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit of vuma, a little bit of willpower on the side of it as well.
A bit of action. I think the conversation has shifted. I think it is a lot more commonplace now. I mean, unfortunately, there are the conspiracy theorists balancing it out on Facebook, which we will, we're going to have to teach young people to be discerning and to understand and to make those links. But I love that. We've got to see this common chain throughout history, not just compartmentalize each generation and we'll hand over the trouble to the next. All of that being said, lovely idea. How do we get it right? What have been some of the successes for you, and how are you getting communities at that base level to buy into this? Because there's a mistrust as well.
So I think a big thing is to acknowledge the fact that when you go into a community, it can't just be a thing, I'm coming to show you what to do and how you need to run your things. A community understands what they want and what they need at the end of the day. And a big part of it is just the level of knowledge building that does happen when it comes to linking climate and social justice. And so it's not the community's fault that they don't know that a climate issue is a social issue. And so it's just kind of helping bridge that gap. And that's why through action, advocacy, education, you can kind of help build that knowledge and bolster that up so that people can act on it. Once people acknowledge the fact that if we tackle climate injustice, if we tackle our heavy reliance on coal-fired power in this country, and we move towards renewable energy, not only are we fixing so many of the issues with our health and our environment, but we're also stopping load shedding.
Yeah.
We're also stopping a lot of the issues we face like that.
I mean, I did the drive between the Pilanesberg National Park and I had an amazing, enlightening game drive in the Pilanesberg with a young game driver who was phenomenal, best guide I've ever had. He lived less than a kilometre away from the Pilanesberg. He only went in there when he was 21 years old. Okay, so that puts it in perspective. The shift in that road, just seeing now that ownership has been given back to the people, land has been sold at a rate that is acceptable. Ownership, they are looking after what they own. Now it's a case of an entrepreneur can launch a business starting Wi-Fi, starting renewable energy, starting boreholes. Suddenly you see a complete shift in that mindset. This being said, I need to ask you, as a father of a young man and a young girl who are going to be entering and they're going to be taking over the world, you leave them, so please, bud, keep doing what you're doing. How do I talk? How do I speak to them and engage in a way that my old brain might not understand?
So a big thing is that I think just being honest. Young people have access to the internet, young people have access to the world, and so they know what's going on.
Awareness, yeah.
But there's a lot of that climate anxiety that builds up, that worry and that stress. And as a parent, I can only assume, based on my parents' reaction to me in this space, it's just that you don't want your child to face that spiral downwardness. You need that hope, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And so it's about being honest. It's about showing people that there is a way forward and that it's how we can go forward. It's putting the positive before we put the negative.
Negative, completely, yeah.
We want renewable energy, stop coal, rather than just stop coal, this is suffering, we're all going to die, the world is ending. Hold on, we still have time and we can do it together.
Yeah, we were joking. We might be about 2 millimeters from the line, but we own those 2 millimeters. Yeah, trust me. In sports, it's an inch. So in climate change, it's a couple of millimeters, but we can do it. We're going to keep all of your details up for as long as possible. Please, whenever you're launching anything, doing anything, have more amazing young people like you ready to mobilize, let us know. We will be there to scream this message from the mountaintops while we still have mountains. The African Climate Alliance, absolutely brilliant. A youth-led grassroots organization acting and advocating for Afrocentric climate justice because it is a social issue as well.
It is a big issue indeed. Thank you, Graham. Well, we are here with Wicked World, and before they get into their next performance on the Expresso stage, Ruan, we are talking about Global Climate Change Week, which it is this week. And of course, we're putting a big spotlight on the environment this morning. Is recycling or looking after the environment something you are passionate about, or perhaps do or contribute towards?
Yes, definitely. I think this is our world that we all live on, and we have to look after it. So even if you don't do something big, you can do something small every day, like recycling. Don't overuse plastic. That makes a difference.
There we go. And I know your next performance, this one is called Truth. Can you tell me a little bit about what this song is about?
It's about when you ask someone's advice, and or someone asks your advice about a certain problem they have, and you give them the advice, and then they don't take your advice, and they come back and ask you again.
They don't want to hear the truth.
They just want to moan on your shoulder for a bit, actually.
Ah, okay.
We all do that from time to time.
We definitely do. Well, here on your Feel Good Breakfast show is Wicked World with their next performance called Truth. Take it away.
Thank you.
I never wanted anything that you had. time on giving up and throwing out. Shutting up's not okay. Yes, to tell you the truth now. To tell you the truth, I never wanted anything that you had to offer. Tell you the truth, I want nothing at all. Yes, to tell you the truth now. To tell you the truth, I never wanted anything that you had to offer. Tell you the truth, I want nothing at all. Yeah, 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 we're getting older. I'm not that shoulder. You can cry out all the time. One of these days you'll be alone. To tell you the truth, I never wanted anything that you had to offer. Tell you the truth, I want nothing at all. To tell you the truth, I never wanted anything that you had to offer. Tell you the truth, I want nothing at all. To tell you the truth, I never wanted anything that you had to offer. Tell you the truth, I want nothing at all. To tell you the truth, I never wanted anything that you had to offer. Tell you the truth, I want nothing at all. To tell you the truth, I never wanted anything that you had to offer. Tell you the truth, I want nothing at all.
It is Wicked World on your Feel Good Breakfast show with their track Truth. Of course, we have one more performance coming from these gents, so don't go anywhere. This is your Feel Good Breakfast show.
The number of times you're going to hit snooze. How many excuses you're going to make. And the amount of obstacles that are going to stand in your way.
0.
That's also the amount of sugar in the new Energade Zero sports drink. With zero compromise on taste and performance. Step up your game with new Energade Zero. It's what you put in.
to your Feel Good Breakfast Show on S3, and we're all about spreading those feel good vibes, and today it's in the form of travel deals. Now, what do you want out of a holiday? Is it an adventurous day out in the country or a few days of rest and relaxation? Are you maybe looking for more of to learn more about history, or perhaps indulge in the modern approach to winemaking? And when it comes to food, do you prefer luxury or lekker? Well, whatever you are looking for, the Cape Winelands celebrates South African hospitality at its finest and has something for everyone. And the good news is that MasterCard holders get a whole host of discounts and deals when visiting the Cape Winelands in Stellenbosch, Franschhoek and Constantia. So go visit priceless.com/travel in South Africa today and choose any of these experiences that your heart desires. All offers are valid until the 31st of December, so you have plenty of time to treat yourself and perhaps even plan a full getaway for the whole family. You deserve it.
Oh man, I'm getting into the history of sourdough bread right now because I do absolutely love it, and Woolies are changing the game. It is now accessible to all of us. In fact, they have democratized sourdough, and we're going to get into all of those details. Jack is here, Jack Colver, the product developer bakery at Woolworths, and he is obviously a very proud father, a papa bear today, because he has got an incredible new range of products that Chef Clem is going to put to good use today. We are going to be making a yummy Cuanish croque madame. And this is probably all of my favorite flavor profiles wrapped into one. So, buddy?
It's an epic breakfast.
This is exciting.
Because we're celebrating this bread, because this bread is the best thing since...
It's been sliced for a while.
Yeah. Can I ask the silly question first? As Chef Clem launches into my breakfast and Luce's breakfast and all of our breakfast this morning, what is sourdough? What is sourdough bread?
Super cool question. So I think we get this question a lot, especially on our side. So essentially it's an age-old process, right? But it depends on the fermentation of lactobacilli and yeast that is naturally in the air, right? So that's the most amazing thing. And we can keep these cultures alive for generations, essentially, right? So it's a very basic flour, water, salt.
That's it.
And it takes time.
And then let it grow.
Yeah.
Like a child.
Exactly, yeah. Just eat, yeah.
This being said, is sourdough sour? He asked with a cheeky grin.
So maybe a slightly longer explanation than just the previous one. Yeah? So it doesn't have to be. So we have the ability to influence the components to make it milder, more acidic. There is a connotation to very acidic, but what we've done with this is we have actually manipulated the time and the temperature to make it more accessible to everyone. So this is mild, creamy, with a slight hint of acidity.
And it's different. It just touches different. It's a different mouthfeel, and it allows you to do different things, and I would imagine it's going to work for this, buddy. Chef Clem, take us through what you are so lovingly doing in the corner there.
So for me, anytime an ingredient, let's call it a basic ingredient, delivers so much flavor and attitude, I get so excited. Like when a tomato tastes like a tomato, you know what I mean? So when this bread actually has a unique, delicious flavor just on its own, I get so excited because I know it's already amazing. Anything I add to it now is going to take it through the roof.
My boy is going to have mashed avo on this every day of his life.
It is.
Like, that's
the plan, right?
Yeah,
that's
100%.
the plan.
So, and it is. I love the fact that it's been made more accessible.
And the thing is, you spoke about that starter. It delivers so much flavor, and it's so beautiful. It's not just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's alive.
No, it is.
And you've got to look after it. And from that, it'll be, I mean, we'll probably be here in 20 years' time and say, remember the time Jack was here? And we spoke about that bread. It's the same mother.
When your
kids take over.
Exactly.
So I'm going to make a Cuban-ish sandwich because I love Cubanos. This one's going to be like a Cubanish croque madame, and the difference between the madame and the monsieur, the madame has the hat, which is our egg on the top. So I've got some beautiful
the lady
cheese.
must get dressed up for the...
She got to get dressed up for this bread. It's a special occasion.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got some Emmentaler cheese. We've got some smoked meat. You can use your smoked chicken, your ham. You can use a smoked turkey, pastrami. Get that on there.
Order this on Dash. Can I order this on Woolies Dash?
As far as I know, you can, yeah?
Yeah.
It's all sorted. We're here for you.
Now you're going to have to, because I've just said it. I'm sorry, man. No, I absolutely love it. It's all about the convenience, yes, but it's about introducing people to something that is going to probably change their food mindset. Why did you guys want to do this? Why take sourdough out of the kind of boutique space and make it accessible to everyone?
So there's two answers to this, right? So the first answer is we have to do the right thing for the right reason, right? So if we take this back to how bread used to be made, and we then, essentially in a modern system, make it applicable and accessible to everyone, which was the first idea, right? Secondly, maybe a little bit closer to heart, so with the little one at home, the plan is to literally take something that he's going to eat every day and me having spent time in a kitchen and a bakery, make it the better way.
Make it better.
So I need to give him something that I'm happy to feed him on a daily basis, that I know is going to give him what he needs, so he can obviously do his thing and grow.
Yeah.
And we have to positively influence the generation after us, right? So we need to leave something. So this is in the space that I have maybe influence over.
It's legacy.
Yes,
it's a legacy. It's a legacy.
It really like I get goosebumps,
man.
right? So we have
man.
to do something and positively influence this industry, and then hopefully kickstart something that's better for everyone.
I love that. So how have you gotten this right? And I know you've got the mad geniuses and your Charlie of the Chocolate Factory, wherever these mad ideas come from, they come to him in a dream. I would imagine it's the same for you guys. How are you able to create this level of bread? Because I would imagine it's quite an intricate process. What does this production line look like, man? How have you been able to create this kind of product and make it so accessible?
So I think that we've got some amazing people working with us, right? But when we started it, taking a sourdough that we used to do in a bakery where we have to feed it, we've done exactly the same thing. It's just on a much, much larger scale. So we have two sites that make this, and each region slightly specific, so the yeast is a little bit different. But it's essentially taking a bakery, upscaling it, and not making 20, but a few 100,000 maybe. Yeah. But it's the process that's
But it's also upskilling the people in that area to be able to do that.
Very good point, huh?
And for me, not just as a chef, but as someone that really enjoys just cooking in general at home, thank you so much for coming up with an everyday sourdough bread that I can just get from Woolies instead of going to find a deli or a specialized bakery. I can now just get it straight off shelf. And it is such a, it's flavor, texture, so different to what you're used to eating as everyday bread. I'm so excited about it.
It makes a difference because this is a staple that we do in South Africa enjoy absolutely every day. Okay, so you're doing your
I was about to say, if you followed the trend during lockdown and you made your own sourdough bread, you'll understand and appreciate how special this is. But back to this.
Buddy, if people were brewing their own pineapple beer, people were making sourdough. I'm telling you that people have all tried this. If you failed spectacularly, don't worry, we've got your back.
We've got you.
All right, so she's having her hair done as well, not only I'm going to be wearing a hat.
So I've got the jalapeno cheese sauce, a bit of that flavor going through there. So what you do is you now pop it under the oven and get this all charry and bubbly. We're just going to fast forward a little bit because we don't have a lot of time, okay? So get your don't get your blowtorch out. Put it in the oven. Put it in the oven, okay? You just want to get some nice char on the cheese, on the cheese sauce. And of course, like I said, you got to finish it off with a little bit of the egg. I like how when I do dangerous things in the kitchen, Graham puts on his dad face.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, are you safe?
No, I'm like, they never let me use the torch, man. I'm not allowed to.
Come do this.
And the guest is always in the middle, right?
I've got to protect you.
Yeah, please, huh?
I've got to send you back to Woolies.
Yes.
Oh, my little friend.
And that's what you want. You want
He's
to
actually quite good at this.
Hey, I started cooking last week, and I'm but gee, that's exactly
how's that looking?
Keep it moving, keep it moving. Get a bit of the char on the cheese, heat the cheese, and then as soon as you feel like you've done it, we just top it with an egg. So this is an amazing breakfast, obviously. It's amazing breakfast, but also I love this for dinner.
I think that's good, eh?
And what we did is
what
do you think about the beautiful little kitties decoration
they
we put together for you?
So the big thing we had to get across as well, I think it is for everyone. It's not for one person. So it's the family, it's the kids, it's the adults, it's grandma, grandpa, it's everyone. So this is for everyone.
And you can feel a little less guilty about enjoying your bread now, which I love. That's a major thing. But I can't tell you, as a parent of a child who absolutely loves buttered bread, this is like a quantum leap forward for me. All right.
This is it.
This is it.
Do you want to try digging into this?
What do you mean, do I want to?
And do you know what the best thing is? Like, obviously, I mean, remember those little pans that we had for the flapjacks?
Yeah.
Make this in that pan.
Oh, my goodness.
And then serve it like that. G, I'm going to give you just a knife. Not a fork.
This is going to get rough. Back to basics now.
But this is honestly...
Look, I feel like there is only one way I can do this because my sister from another, Mr. Zozo, has been working so hard today. And we've literally been saving the planet. I don't know if you've been listening, but we've literally been combating climate change this morning. Oh, my goodness. Look at that cross-section.
And you want to get the malt. You want to get all that flavor in there.
Het Engels op hierdie...
Hoeveel Engels? Hoeveel Engels krijg je die toebreek? 9 Engels. Zoe, do you want to come in?
Zozo, come in, please.
Look how cute these sandwiches
Yeah, no, you don't get anything. I'm sorry, but surely you've had enough of this.
I'm the official taster on the show.
So the funny thing is, Zoe and I have been swapping positions so fast today. I kept stealing her breakfast inadvertently, where she would be and then have to be on camera, then I'd have her. So I'm sorry, I've denied you breakfast the whole day.
This is
now
breakfast now.
it's your turn. We're going to need a fork. We're going to... I don't know how else are we
I'm coming. I'm going to see.
Okay, you're going to try and get us a fork. In the meantime, I'm going to.
Give me.
Shall I get wet wipes for you? Huh?
Well, at this rate, I might just use my hands.
We have tears and wet wipes on set all the time. Okay, I'll give you the knife and you can cut yourself.
But you're also going to have some with me,
Yeah,
G?
and I'm gonna just get dirty and do it because it's amazing.
What Jack and I spoke about a little earlier is the fact that you can actually freeze the bread.
Yes.
Which I think is amazing. So buying the bread, and if it's just a household of 2, not that it's going to last that long, but you can actually freeze it, which I love.
And then draw as you need, huh?
Yes. I've got a fork.
Hello, my little friend.
Did you need the fork?
I would love a fork, please. I'm not like
Graham's
Graham.
going duck here, huh? He's going.
Graham's got it.
I know.
Oh, and you need that sauce.
I know I'm spoken for, but
Have we ever done the music?
Wandering just a little bit.
Have we ever done the music with Zoe?
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
Can we get the music with Zoe as she takes her bite?
What is this? The aha moment. Yo.
All that bread.
This makes the all development worth it now, huh?
Life.
I think I got teeth on my face.
Suddenly mine is jealous. Mine wants to swap sides.
I might have to get the soundtrack from you. I'll feed the message that
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. No, this. Well done, guys.
Oh, madame.
There's a nice little bite to this.
It's good, right?
The jalapeno chili.
Jalapeno cheese sauce. That bread. I'm talking about the flavor of the bread. When the bread has flavor, that's amazing.
How did you not get it all over your face?
I think I got it on my chin.
Jack, does this make you happy to see people eat your bread like this and just
Ecstatic,
their action?
huh? Like, literally, this is the moment, huh?
This is what it's all about. Oh, buddy, thank you so much to you and your team for doing something quite revolutionary, I think.
That was the plan, and I'm glad you enjoyed it, huh?
You are disrupting the market. I absolutely love this. This is a staple in my house that will now be available and accessible economically every single day. So a big round of applause to the humble starter dough. Accessible sourdough bread. Oh, this is amazing. I'm going to actually use my hands for the whole thing now.
That's the trick. You need to go back for seconds, huh?
Exactly.
Switch to Red, travel the world, and connect anywhere with flight discounts and international roaming. Get the new Samsung Z Flip 4 on a 600-minute Red Core voice plan for 1,339 Rand per month. You save 2,400 Rand and get a free hotel voucher. Plus, trade in and save up to 10,000 Rand with Vodacom, SA's leading network. Available in-store or online. Further together. Vodacom.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Wicked World as they're about to perform their final performance. This one's called 427, and before we get into it, Craig, I need to ask you, what does 427 mean to you and the band? Because this is a song you guys wrote.
Yes. 427 stands for 4th month, so April 27th. It's about the elections in 94. So it's kind of written from the perspective of a young guy watching all this happen when something completely new is just going on in his world. So it's just hope. It's about hope and everyone healing and getting on with their lives, you know?
Well, that's absolutely perfect because we are currently in Hopetober. Wicked World, take it away. This is your moment.
Thanks.
Cause today they will reap what they sow. Cause today they will reap what they sow. Cause today they will reap what they sow. And it's taken so long for the change. Now the mountain's smiling over Table Bay again. I was born December 14th. Year after year it seemed just like a dream. The other people that were born that day didn't have it easy, no, I'm sad to say. See, the government paid for our education and called those people's homes locations. And while our schools are where we learn, there's where all destroyed and burned. And I hear them say, let's forget about yesterday. And I hear them say, April 27 is here. No more crying, no more tears, no more troubles and no more lies. We carry on our new lives again.
This spring, here's to Mother Nature and all the other mums who bring wonders into our world. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.
Our new lives again. And it's taken so long for the change. Now the mountain's smiling over Table Bay again.
Thank you very much.
My friend.
Yeah!